Hi, everybody, and welcome to FNS Wrestling Podcast, Episode 4.
Yeah.
I am your host, and with me, as always, is my son, Jackson. Say hello.
What's up?
Not much. So, we finally got the sound. I've calmed down after raging about
Oh, yeah. We tried like so many times. It's funny. Because, like, sometimes it works just perfectly fine, and then today it just took like a million tries to get it working.
Yeah, it seems like every time I go to hook this
but
stuff
we're
up,
here, so at least
it's
it
working.
Worked.
I feel better.
Kept going.
The highlight of my day's recording, so I'll feel better. So just to revisit last week during this section, we were talking about we were having a race to get, each of us were waiting for a package to come in.
Yep.
So hopefully by the sound of this, when I go back and listen to it, people can already tell my package arrived because my microphone came.
Yep. Mine came after his.
And then his,
right?
I won the race, got my package set up.
Thankfully, it was good. So I actually ended up picking most of AEW Unrivaled Series 1. So I've got the Bucks, I've got Omega, Cody, and Jericho. I'm just missing Brandy Rose, but I might try to pick it up.
Right. So his sort of late birthday present finally arrived.
Yep.
We ordered it a long time ago, but it arrived a couple weeks after. That's excellent. Yep. The other thing we sort of talked about was the sort of evolution of our state-of-the-art studio we've got going on down here.
I just posted it on Instagram, so if you go follow FNS _wrestling _podcast, if you already do, then thank you. Just posted some pictures of the studio. We put up some wrestling posters that I've had for a bit now, and we just never use them, so I'm glad we finally put them to use. It looks good. Dad's got 9 posters behind him. I've got 9 behind me, and then we got one on the door that was like a different position, so we couldn't really use it anywhere else. But
so we're still running super lean, super cheap. We've just got, I don't know, neither of the microphones we're using are over $50, but they sound considerably better than what we've been using. So I'm quite happy with it. It's a cool little room that we've now. I mean, it's still not perfect, but it's a nice little
It is cheap because again, I am sitting next to a Bowflex workout machine.
You are.
And
to motivate me for later.
But anyways.
So the other thing I wanted to ask you is this is episode 4, so we're now 1 month into this, right? Uh-huh. So I wanted to ask.
We are.
Yeah, right. And we did a promo, like a whatever promotional episode too, right?
Preview,
so,
right, yeah.
1 month in, what's your favorite thing about doing the podcast? Or favorite things? The actual recording as well.
I enjoy doing the figure bit and off the top of my head because I'm good at it.
Yeah. My favorite part also is the actual recording, like what we're doing right now.
It's kind of a pain, especially watching NXT, taking notes right now. But I just think once we get to the recording,
so that fits into your least favorite part, right?
It's just, especially in NXT, it just gets so ridiculous, and it's just like.
Well, I'm the one doing detailed notes there, so you're lucky.
Even then, it's still a pain for me.
It is. My favorite is the actual, obviously, recording, and I also now it's sort of led me into this world of looking at microphones and headphones and things that I don't know. I'm kind of obsessed with it right now.
Mm-hmm. Indeed.
My least favorite things. I don't like taking notes. I don't hate it, but it's probably my least favorite part. And then sometimes, as today, setting up the audio is my least favorite part because as I've said a million times, I have no idea what I'm doing, so I'm really learning GarageBand.
It's just about luck.
But it seems to be something a little different every time I go to Connect because I practiced this exact setup last night, nailed it. Come here today, no, not so much, but that's okay.
Yeah. All right.
And then my other least favorite thing is that I have to wait to listen to some of my favorite podcasts because I don't want to listen to the ones that talk about what we talk about. So it's delaying me stuff I would normally.
And just as a heads up, I feel like just based on what I have, this might be a bit of a longer episode, but I don't know. We'll see.
It's usually we come in pretty similar length.
Okay.
So I'm really enjoying the recording and even the parts I don't like about podcasting. I mean, it still beats doing a lot of other things. So I hope we can keep doing this. Maybe pick up a few listeners, our loyal listeners. Thank you. So hopefully the sound quality is better this week and you'll notice.
And by listeners, we mean thank you to our family for listening.
Family and friends. Hey, there's like 1 or 2 random people I don't know.
You said there's the one person who's not in Canada.
Even on Podbean, we had 1 follower. I don't know if we still do, but we had 1.
Yeah, we're on this thing called Podbean apparently. So.
We are.
That's a thing too.
Let's get into our first actual segment of the show, I guess, which is our news.
I think that's our longest host banter segment.
Right. Well, I feel like a lot of the people listening some aren't wrestling fans. They're listening to hear us, so they might like that part the most. You know what I mean? So moving into news and rumors then.
I've got a bunch of stuff.
Why don't I start with the ratings and then you can go into whatever you want to. So All Elite has topped NXT for the 5th straight week in the ongoing Wednesday Night Wars. AEW landed 9th in the top 50 cable telecasts for Wednesday. They drew 793 viewers, which was down 12%. But they were still ahead of NXT that had 619,000 viewers. Yeah. They were down 18%.
NXT's been fine, but I think it's also just like very clearly not on AEW's level right now.
Consistently, we've liked AEW better for sure.
Yeah,
right?
I think NXT's been consistently weaker, but we'll get more into I think our opinions later once we review both.
For sure. And in the beloved demographic, right, the 18 to 49s, AEW got a 0.32 and NXT got a 0.16. So again, double the ratings there, and down from last week, but AEW still winning the Wednesday Night War. Yeah. Which we sort of, just based on our enjoyment level, we agree with.
Going off of that, speaking of the Wednesday Night War, I guess NXT could win the Wednesday Night War for a week because due to the NBA, AEW's August 22nd episode is going to be on a Saturday.
Right.
So I guess NXT will win the Wednesday
They're going to win by default.
So yes. I feel like for this, maybe we might have to do our podcast episode on Sunday. But please do go follow the Instagram, FNS_wrestling_podcast, for the updates on that. And then you'll be the first to know.
Yeah, we will probably... We try to publish this on Saturday afternoon, so it looks like we'll have to wait a day, right?
Yeah, so it'll be like probably the same Sunday. Around the same time you would get it on Saturday, but just think a day later.
I have an idea for a bonus episode too that I may put in there on Saturday, but we'll see if you're up for it. I'm not going to tell you what it is, but I think it'd be pretty fun.
Yeah. Okay. You don't get to know yet.
No, you don't either.
Aw. Okay.
And do you have anything else for news? I got a couple.
Next one. I've got like a bunch of stuff.
Go ahead.
I've got quite a few. The TNT title was actually finished on the August 12th Dynamite. Yep. It was revealed on, I believe, some social media thing that Cody did before Dynamite, and then he defended against Scorpio Sky. So apparently this is like a whole new belt from the TNT title. Obviously it looks like the same, just improved, but it's like they still had the old belt, which I'll explain a little more later because it's actually in a segment. But yeah, so they have finished the belt. Looks much better.
Does
it's like
look better.
Gold plating, the TNT is in gold. It's like it's much nicer. Looks definitely more finished. I still don't like the red strap, but that's the only thing I really don't like about it now.
Yeah, I think it definitely looks better.
Yeah.
I don't love the red strap.
And so yesterday on SmackDown, we had a cross-branded like Raw, SmackDown, NXT, Women's Battle Royal. The winner would face Bayley for the SmackDown Women's Championship, and Asuka from Raw would actually end up winning this Battle Royal. Now, this is interesting because Asuka's already beaten Bayley to earn the right to challenge Sasha Banks for the Raw Women's title, which means Asuka will be wrestling twice at SummerSlam for both of the top women's titles. And your thoughts on this?
I am okay with that. In theory, that should be two really excellent matches, right? Because all three of those women are
think
fantastic.
At best she'll win one of them, but I don't think she'll win both. If she does, I think, hey, that could be interesting. It'd be kind of like the Becky Lynch scenario we had last year. And that didn't go for super long. So if Asuka does do this, I'd like to see that play out a little more just to see what it's really like having a double champion like this, you know?
They're three of my favorite people in wrestling right now, so I'm optimistic that those matches should have the very least be good to great.
And kind of also having to do with SummerSlam is my next story is everything after this week's Raw, which will be in 2 days. All their tapings and like whatever is going to be in Orlando's Amway Center, which will include SummerSlam. And I actually Google searched it earlier, and this is going to be like your usual sized arena, like kind of what Raw and SmackDown used to be in. So this is good, and we've seen some fans actually returning to AEW.
Yeah, up in the
so I think this could be the case maybe with the WWE as well. And honestly, I'd just like to see the big entrance stages return.
As long as they're following the proper guidelines and people are, being safe, it will be nice to see a change of venue for sure. I think it was in our news a few weeks ago that they were looking for a new venue. So our news, there you go. That's why you can't miss our news reporting. And
another sort of SummerSlam story is the Payback pay-per-view is going to be the week after SummerSlam. So, yes, 2 pay-per-views, 2 weeks in a row. That is horrible.
We need to discuss, are we going to be reviewing these things or not? Maybe just quickly address it.
I think maybe SummerSlam we could, but Payback is pointless.
We could just jam it into
I think for the main roster, we could review the Big 4 and then maybe Money in the Bank.
And then the other ones, because we'll watch everything, but we can just maybe in any other business talk about it.
How about at our discretion, we'll review them if we want to.
Fair enough. If people contact us and want it to happen, if it gets people to email and Instagram us, then if enough people want us to, we'll do it.
If we get it requested, we will do it. So
what am I doing, really?
Yeah, but anyways, and then my last story that I have is TNA Hall of Famer Chris Parks, who's known to many as the wrestler Abyss.
Yep.
Makes his WWE debut. He was in a backstage segment with AJ Styles, and then also came down to the ring with him on SmackDown. So
yeah,
interesting. I did hear a while ago that he's a backstage producer. So now seeing this does make sense. So interesting.
And AJ actually did refer to him as Joseph Parks too, which was his character. He was honestly amazing when he did this in Impact or TNA back at that time, I guess. He was just known as Abyss, right? Which was their like Kane sort of monster guy.
Mankind.
And then all of a sudden he started playing this dual role where he was his brother as well, a lawyer, and he was incredible as both of them, to be honest. So it's interesting they're bringing it back with AJ. I thought AJ's promo there was brutal, but anyways, that's beside the point. We don't talk SmackDown review on this show.
It's not great.
So. No. Anything else?
Nope. Unless you got anything.
Only two quick things. The first real layoffs from AEW, right, happened this past week. So Sadie Gibbs, who I don't even remember.
I don't know who that is. And then we got Jimmy
Priestley,
Havoc,
who I remember and I thought had some potential, and Jimmy Havoc released. So from
Which is a shame because I liked this team with Kip Sabian.
What I can tell, Gibbs and Priestley are having trouble getting into the country, so they can't really work anyways. And Havoc, as we know, has had some issues
allegations
and is in some treatment right now, so they've just sort of cut ties with him. It's their first, I think, laying people off since the pandemic.
If you contrast to the WWE's releases, this is actually like
minor.
Not good, but
minor.
It's very minor, yes.
Considering a smaller company barely laid off anyone, and the larger one just chopped a ton of people.
And like we said before, they're making record-breaking profits this year, which is kind of disheartening. But
and my last one is actually, I think, good news for us. I don't know if you heard this or not. The WWE has acquired content from more independent promotions, and they're going to be starting to air them on WWE Network this Saturday, it says. Nice. So maybe is that today, I guess, because I looked this up the other day.
Any specific ones?
Yes.
Do you know?
So Evolve, which is awesome. Progress, which is awesome for us. We saw a really fun Progress versus Smash show last summer.
Before SummerSlam, it was like the Wednesday before SummerSlam. We went to, we originally went to AOWB show, which is like a Chinese promotion affiliated with AEW.
Yep.
And then we kind of just stuck around for a Progress versus Smash wrestling show. And
Smash is the biggest promotion in Ontario.
Promotion,
where we're located, and then
Progress is a UK promotion. We got to see like Walter, who was still the UK champion at the time. I got pictures of Jordan Devlin and Trent Seven.
Favorite part about that was
what?
Because it was the same venue, so we just sort of one show finished the OWE, and then we sort of hit the box office and said, listen, can we get tickets for the next one? So yes, we did, and we were in the second row, I think.
It was good seats.
And do you remember when it started? And they have a Progress has a rule.
Oh, that was so funny.
Progress has a rule that only 14-year-olds and up can be in the crowd. So he goes out of his way, right, to point out like, so I want to say this again. Everybody here has to be 14. Nobody.
And even now I'm 13, right? So this is last year.
He's like, I'm looking at you, because there was Jack and then one other boy in the crowd that looked significantly younger than you did. And so he looks right at Jack and he says, what's your name? And we said Jack, and everyone in the crowd goes, hello, Jack, or whatever. And they said, so Jack, I have a really important question to ask you. Now keep in mind, you can only stay if you're 14 years old. And they says, how old are you? And Jack immediately goes, 14. And then the crowd broke into a he's 14 chant. Which
it was so funny. It was like, that's fun.
So sorry, Evolve, Progress Wrestling, Insane Championship Wrestling from Scotland, which I don't even know what it is.
That sounds pretty insane.
And WXW in Germany. They're being added to the service this week. So
I might check that out.
Also, because they have this
that might be a decent episode for bonus episode down the line.
It could be. And now that they have these
I don't know what I just said.
If they have these other libraries, so they're putting together best of compilations of people like McIntyre and Keith Lee, because they have a lot of Evolve footage, right? So now they have all of that.
And Matt Riddle.
So they'll probably be putting stuff on the network, like a thing about Keith Lee and Drew McIntyre.
A ton of people were there, because also, like last year, there's that Evolve 10th anniversary. You had like guys like Adam Cole and Drew Gulak and Akira Tozawa appearing there. So like, there's a lot of potential, especially with the Evolve stuff.
I like Evolve. It's just
progress
impossible.
because of Walter, Jordan, like the guys we saw there.
Right.
There's a lot of potential with this, so I think it's good. It's good for them to expand their archive and
good for
might
us.
make the monthly subscription a little more worth it.
And I'm looking forward to. I'll watch Evolve. I'll watch Progress because Evolve I've tried to watch. Right, it's really really hard to find.
Right.
So
yeah.
All
I've really seen is that 10th anniversary, and then I know like
it was
a lot of NXT guys would make like appearances every now and then. Like Adam Cole's appeared multiple times, Roderick Strong, and just some other dudes. I think maybe even Johnny Gargano.
A lot of good people have gone through there.
Yeah.
So I guess that wraps up our news. If that's all you've got,
Yep.
we should get into the meat of this show, if you will. Which coming up first is what's been our favorite show for the last few weeks. So let's see how we feel about it this week, and that is the August 12th edition of AEW Dynamite.
Yep.
And that is your job, and I just get the second. I didn't bring a coffee down. I'm thinking of texting your mother to bring me a coffee, but think she would.
Lazy sack.
Do you have my phone still over there?
Your phone's right here. Yeah.
Thanks. Why don't you start,
All
and I'll
right,
see if I can get a coffee delivered.
Oh my god. Then I kind of want something too, but I don't know.
I have water here. You can share.
No, but I want something better than water.
Well, we'll talk after. So
can you ask her for chocolate milk?
Maybe.
Okay. Sorry about that. So yeah, we open. So this is, keep this in mind. This AEW is the Tag Team Appreciation Night, hosted by FTR, and we'll talk more about them later. Actually.
I was very excited about this. That it was Tag Team Appreciate. I even have in my notes. Yes, like I love tag teams.
And so yeah, we would open with Young Bucks versus Dark Order, which is going to be Evil Uno and Stu Grayson, which is
how we feel
their
about
core
them.
Tag team of the Dark Order, right?
Yep, and we love them.
The other Dark Order members jumped the Bucks in their entrance, and they kind of like stayed at ringside. Nick Jackson would attempt to fight back, but Uno lowers the rope when he like runs the ropes, and he falls out and gets stomped by the other Dark Order members, and then Matt Jackson would come in with like a swanton bomb to take them all out.
Yes, sir.
And I noticed there's like this weird new teeth design for Evil Uno's mask. It looked cool, but it didn't look as cool as his old mask. But
you did notice that.
They just look kind of like wonky and just didn't look great. But if you want to check that out, then I'm sure you can find them on YouTube, look some clips. Anyways, there's this double team move by the Dark Order. It was reversed by Nick, and Matt got the hot tag in.
Yes, he did.
Double clothesline by Matt, which is like kind of the cap off of some of his usual hot tag offense.
Yep.
And Evil Uno kept trying to like take off his wrist tape and use it for something.
Yes.
And that was interesting. And there's some nice athleticism by Grayson. He would take out the Bucks on the outside.
Yes.
Tope Atomco by Grayson onto the apron.
Yeah, I made a note
That's
of that
where
one.
like he uses the ropes to slingshot. And it's kind of like a swanton. It's like the Tope Con Hilo, but that's why it's called the Tope Atomico.
And sort of what you were just talking about, him trying to use the wrist tape. I made a note here too that they're really cheating a lot, right? There's back rakes, eye pokes, ref distractions.
And
so
my
it's
next
like
note is
heels.
actually him trying to remove the wrist tape again.
Yes.
And then it's taken away by the referee. Stu Grayson will pull Matt out of the ring and is sent into the post. Matt goes under the ring to avoid the Dark Order's like ringside people, and then goes like in for a near hot tag to his brother. He did a spear and then a poison Rana on Grayson.
Yeah, it was cool.
Nick Jackson hot tag in, and his that usual kick flurry that always just looks amazing.
Nick Jackson's hot tags are. And again,
it's always the same, but I just love it.
Just to remind
it's
people, it's when the one partner is being dominated in the ring, and he's just
finally
waiting for him
makes
to
that.
tag.
That's why you
to
call
that,
it a hot tag, because it's like they finally tag
that
it.
fresh, energetic partner.
He hits like I think it's like a round twist or something. Then he hits like a spin kick, and then like a tornado kick, and then like the one dude's in the corner. He does like a step up knee, and then bulldog clothesline. It just looks great. It's like
he's
it's
so
a whole
fast
thing.
and so clean, and everything is.
Oh yeah,
so
and
smooth.
then I know you like this. Stu Grayson gets freaking decapitated by a midair super kick, and I saw another angle of this that didn't make it look too great, but from the angle they put it at, it looked nasty.
I had caps lock nasty super kick to Grayson, and it was a great camera angle.
Funny.
He just came out of nowhere and
hey, my chocolate milk's
right
here.
In the face. Wow, delivery.
Hey,
thank you very much. You're in the podcast. She's not going to say a word.
All right. Let's keep this going.
Yeah, that move was. It looked.
Yeah,
amazing.
it was like one of the best super kicks I've
beautifully
seen.
executed and beautifully filmed, I would say too.
Yeah, and what's my next note? Sorry.
That's okay.
Interesting springboard swanton by Nick Jackson to Uno. It was. Oh yeah, so like Matt Jackson was Evil Uno's feet are draped in the ropes.
Yes.
And Matt Jackson's holding his arms so that he's kind of like just hovering above the ring mat. And then Nick Jackson would do a springboard swanton. This actually looked really cool.
Swanton to stretched out Uno for 2. That's what I have as well. Yeah.
And Grayson would springboard up and walk on the shoulders of Uno and Nick Jackson to deliver a Hurricane Rana to Matt Jackson.
I have what?
If you think that's confusing, please go watch it because I assure you it's epic.
It doesn't even, we can't really do it justice. It really is. You need to just go. I mean, we're suckers for Stu Grayson. We love him.
He's great. I did get to meet him at the show.
This was a
good dude,
dazzling move. I haven't seen anything like it. It was, and this is something you get in AEW. You're gonna see some moves every week that you're just
really
like,
just
what
like
just happened? Rewind it a second. I gotta see that.
Yeah, they're really like going for it,
they
right?
are.
So, then the Dark Order would hit their usual 450 splash and cannonball kind of,
which I think looks cool.
In sync kind of double move thing, and it looks good as always. There's a Grayson would hit a tornado kick into a brain buster by Uno. That looked fantastic.
Yeah, the pace of the match here just really picked
Matt
up.
Jackson would be sent into the entrance tunnel and blocked off by the ringside Dark Order members.
Yep.
And Nick Jackson would reverse the fatality finisher into a roll-up for the win. Overall, I really enjoyed this match.
I thought there was a lull in the middle when the Dark Order was sort of working over Matt before the hot tag to Nick.
Right.
And then after that, and that's not even really a complaint because
just a note.
It'll come up again if we do the podcast. I think I want to surprise you with. Sometimes a lull in the action is okay, right? Like I like a match that it builds and it fluctuates. So
and if you're having this like fast paced thing, you kind of have to slow it down at some point. So
I'm just pointing out there was a lull. It's not really a negative note because after the hot tag, the match is bananas, right? Like it was super fun.
And even just like the roll up ending doesn't even make me mad because it was like cleverly worked. And another note is fatality is where Uno kind of has him in like the gory bomb position, and then Grayson goes for a flipping cutter, and so Matt would kind of get out of Uno, and then Grayson would land on his feet and roll through. He would roll up Uno and get it, but then like you see Grayson try to break it up, and he gets there, but just after the 3 count. So you can really see like it's not like he was just there like an idiot. He was like still trying to get there. And
sometimes that's the only way they can win,
really
right?
Like
that's telling a story of that we can't just nail our finisher on these guys. They're too good. We have to.
Right.
So to wrap up that match, I put rarely do I shout out loud watching wrestling. I've seen everything in 35 years or whatever of watching this, but Grayson did it twice. Once taking a move, getting super kicked, and then when he ran across other human beings to deliver a move to somebody. So again,
you just don't expect
just find highlights of this match. You can. There's some pretty cool stuff.
Yeah, if you can find it, like if you ever want one of our viewers wants to watch AEW. It's in Canada. It's on I think TSN2, but you definitely should check this out if you can, even if you can just like find clips of this. But Stu Grayson was definitely on fire at times in this match. So
you can pretty much guarantee the first match of Dynamite every week it's been a hot opener for every week basically now, which I love. All right, what else is up?
Next we got MJF walking down the hall backstage. This is nothing much except he would shove Lee into the wall and said, "Get out of my shot."
That's exactly what I have.
And then Hangman and Omega would get interviewed. They do this throughout the show due to being Tag Team Appreciation Night, just being asked what their favorite tag team is. Omega immediately says Young Bucks, and then Hangman kind of is like, "I thought you would have said us." And then, again, still that tension, right?
Exactly. So it's that slow tease of tension. They're never, like, completely on the same page, but they're never at odds enough
drifting
to
apart,
fight.
Right.
So, again, I really like it, and at some point it's going to set up a sweet turn for somebody. I don't know who. It'd be hard to turn Page heel right now, I think, because he's just beloved, especially when crowds come back. So I think maybe a heel Omega may happen, which I'm very interested to see as well.
Yeah. But I think with the way they're doing this with Hangman, with the FTR and always leaving, I think Hangman kind of has to be the one to heel turn. Doesn't have to be anytime soon. This could be like a year from now. I wouldn't care, but I'm just saying I think it has to be him.
Or it could be that's what FTR wants you to think, and that really they're working with Kenny Omega, and they're going to hurt Page when it really hurts him the most, sort of. I don't know.
Smash a beer bottle over his head.
But, so yeah, just a quick little promo. Again, just a clever way to tease that tension
like
between them and put over the Bucks.
This is throughout the night. You'll see a few different tag teams. I'm not sure if I made notes of it. I probably did, so... Anyways.
I bet you did.
We'll keep going.
Yep.
MJF would have another presentation. And AEW must really like lying to us because there's no picture-in-picture once again.
Nope.
And not that I really care, but it's just like they're lying to me, man. Like, just come on, man.
Well, I'm wondering if maybe in the feed they get in the States, it is accurate, and that I don't see why it would be different, but I don't know how they get it wrong every week. And they draw attention to it because JR goes on and on about it, right? Like, he makes it this big... I don't know why he does it. It's one of the many things he's doing that bugs me. That's one of the things I notice, and it might be working in wrestling's favor for me right now, is when I'm taking notes, I don't notice commentary stuff as much. I think if I were, like, I don't know, because JR bugs me when I focus on... Because you're focused
on your own, kind of, your in-head commentary, right? When you're taking notes.
And in AEW, let's be honest, there's a lot of things happen really quickly, right? So we got to be sort of paying attention, and I'm not a strong typer. So... so this is MJF promo.
Yeah, another presentation thing. Yep. You'd tell this girl to smile again and literally just pauses his promo to do so. Apparently her name is Nina.
Yes, he's berating his staff in public, basically.
Like that Lee thing I said earlier. Yeah. Kind of like that. We had a poll update. MJF 500%. John Moxley -1,000.
Yeah, so it's gotten significantly worse from last week for everyone.
Moxley.
Oh, sorry, for Mox.
I guess people really don't like Moxley.
I thought this promo started off a lot slower than last week.
Yeah, but it's going to be hard to top that.
That's a great point. You can't. I don't know how he could top last week.
Kip Sabian, my boy Kip Sabian, was in the audience with some MJF support signs.
Yes, he was.
He's great. And he has a good theme. MJF says Mox is scared that MJF won't lie down and put him over / lose, and he then proceeds to just lie down on the ring mat and mock Moxley and continue his promo as usual.
And I sound like the AV nerd or something, but I'm not. But not that there's anything wrong with that. But the camera angle, right, is cool. They had like a bird's eye view of him just lying.
Like, as if it was in a drone.
For the rest of his promo is him lying flat backed in the middle of the ring talking to Mox.
And he says Mox should fork over the keys to a better leader. And then Moxley interrupts his theme of play. MJF sends his henchmen, including Wardlow, up the stairs after Moxley because he's always entering through the stands,
right?
A la the Shield. And then Mox would just come out of the stage like a normal person.
He's one step ahead, right?
He would attack MJF, and MJF ate a nasty paradigm shift. It looked fantastic.
Yep.
And Moxley would cut a promo backstage, and I noticed Tony Khan sitting at a table. So.
Right.
Yeah. And that wraps up that segment. It was good.
It got better. It's and I mean, it sounds like I'm being negative
Not
again.
A complaint.
It wasn't as good as last week, but it's still.
No, I don't know what's going to be as good as that.
I'm not sure what a bad MJF promo looks like, right? So at this point,
and it was not bad. It just can't match. You just can't match that.
And I think I told you this, but just to tell the listeners, just by fluke, I was watching, and this is really going to out the levels of my wrestling nerdery. I was checking out Championship Wrestling from Arizona, which is a very kind of a indie 1 hour, not
crappy.
Very high production value. But they sometimes have wrestlers who go on to be a big deal later. So it was an old. I check in to see if they're doing any live shows yet. They're not, so they're still doing sort of best of shows, and it was actually MJF wrestling in Championship Wrestling from Arizona. I don't know how many years ago, but he was doing the same gimmick. But you can
even tell the name's kind of retro because, like, in the territories there always used to be like Championship Wrestling from whatever.
Yes, and they do share. There's Hollywood and Arizona, and they share talent back and forth generally.
Then we had a Matt Hardy interview. He says he'll get revenge on Sammy Guevara, blah blah blah, and he would attack a random dude he mistakes for Guevara, which I think is an interesting. I hope he goes back to the broken gimmick. I think that's just where he's at his peak, and I think this no gimmick thing is stupid.
I don't think it'll last long. So yeah, they recap the crazy flip Sammy did.
And I think he could go back to broken Matt Hardy because like you see with him attacking this guy, he's kind of starting to break down again.
Yes.
And I think back to like what you showed us with the TNA, it's just like that's his best work.
And that's when.
And he has the creative freedom here.
That's what I was just going to say. In WWE, there's no way he's going to do what he wants.
All we got was that crappy Woken feud with Bray Wyatt, really.
Which was them just trying to cash in on what he'd created somewhere else, right?
Yeah.
And then they just really didn't care.
And then they just put them together as a tag team, like. And no wonder Bray took like a year off and then became The Fiend.
Right.
Anyways,
so Matt
I just
has
think
stitches,
he needs to
right?
go back to this.
So Matt has stitches and he's in protocol, so he can't wrestle, but he's going to wrestle Sammy on the 22nd.
In 10 days, yeah.
Right.
Which is...
But then there was like a slight little bit of his Damascus character came through. Did you notice that?
Right.
He slipped into it a little bit there.
That's what I'm saying. He can go back to it.
Yeah, he could.
All right. And then we got Cody versus Scorpio Sky, the TNT Championship match. My first note is the new TNT title looks much better.
Yes, but I agree with you. The red is not... I don't know.
That's my only complaint, though.
It looks a little less professional, right? I don't know why, but it just does.
I think maybe even like a dark gold strap might be interesting.
Yes. What?
You know? Just because, like...
That might be a lot of gold for me.
Well, just, like, not even, like, shiny gold, but, like, you know, like that muted kind of gold yellow.
Yeah.
And, like, just because that's, like, kind of their colors, right?
That's true.
So
I'd look at it if they made it.
Anyways, Cody would miss a crossbody roll out to the outside. Again, like, kind of just, like... Not necessarily avoiding him, but, like, just, like, he rolls to the outside and then, like, talks to the coach. There's very much glimpses of heel. And even when we were watching, Mom came down to watch for a bit, and even she was noticing that Cody's not really face.
Oh, yeah, she did. Yeah, that was funny.
And she's not even a wrestling fan, not by any stretch of the definition.
She just was saying that, like, her instincts were kind of mine, what I always say, and I hadn't told her, is that what is he doing that's a baby face, right?
Right,
like,
and,
what?
like, you don't talk to her about that a lot, right?
No.
So it's not like she...
No, why would she listen if I talked to her about that?
Right? So it's just, like, I think that's kind of proof that Cody needs to be this Ric Flair-esque heel.
And maybe it's on purpose, right? I don't know.
Yeah, maybe this is all leading to that.
I hope so.
This promise of a heel turn that we all speak of, but...
My notes starting this match were that Justin Roberts really does a great job on intros. I think he goes...
I love him. He's so good.
I think some people find him a bit too much.
I think he's... Yeah, but those are the same people not disliking Mauro Ranallo.
So if you...
I think it's great.
The podcast surprise one I have in mind would just remember this conversation about liking the energy of Justin Roberts, because what I plan on showing you...
Howard Finkel?
No, you'll see. And then I thought Scorpio, like the story of this match is Scorpio's supposed to be playing this intense underdog, right? Who's finally getting his shot. And it's something that he did in the promo on Dark a couple weeks ago. I really don't think they played that up enough for this match. I would have liked that they really, I don't know, did something to sort of talk about that a bit more.
Yeah, one of my notes is, like, he's working slightly heel. Like, it was kind of weird.
And I think that's the thing is, like, this is a guy who's super talented. He's wrestled forever. I've seen him in indies, a bunch of different things. And this is his shot. So he's taking it seriously, and he'll do whatever it takes to sort of win. And I just think they could have sort of drawn more attention to that.
Right.
Yeah.
Cody would deliver an over the top rope clothesline, but he goes out with Sky. They roll into the ring at the same time, and Sky, like, so Cody's like under the bottom turnbuckle, and Sky's on the outside.
Yep.
And he like pulls him ribs first into the ring post.
Yep.
Which is interesting.
Yeah.
Abdominal stretch by Sky is reversed into a hip toss by Cody, and then a cutter by Sky.
Yes.
Sky's back gives out on suplex. Cody takes advantage. Superplex by Cody, but upon landing, Sky gets a small package for a very close near fall. TKO is reversed into a crossroads for a surprising near fall.
So they let him kick out of the crossroads, which is nice.
Tombstone attempt by Cody is reversed and followed by flatliner by Sky, and Mike Chioda is the referee. Like, Mike Chioda.
I actually had a note here.
Yeah.
Jack celebrates Mike Chioda? ?
Yes, because for those of you who don't know, he's like their longest tenured referee actually in WWE. And was unfortunately released. I don't know. I just like, I think I kind of have that respect for like that he's been there forever.
Fair.
Because WWE is a hellhole. So, slingshot cutter is countered into a crossroads for the win, and Cody would retain his TNT title. Brody Lee interrupts on the Tron, holding the old TNT title. This is what I said. The new TNT title, while looking the same, is a completely different belt. Like, I think they were just like, they made this prototype one that Cody had been using, and then meanwhile, I think they just like were trying to work on that new one when it was to be ready. Says he'll beat Cody for the TNT title at the next Dynamite, which I think is the Saturday one. I'm not sure.
I think so.
Maybe.
And then he steals Karrion Kross's gimmick. Did you get that?
No.
He says TikTok.
Oh.
Which I thought was a bit
And then
strange.
he said he'll give Cody the old one back, which I think is a nice touch.
Yeah.
And then so there's the private party interview. I did make a note of it. They say their favorite tag team is the Hardy Boys.
Yes.
And I think that's not bad, but I think the Young Bucks are very Hardy Boys as well.
So did you like the Cody match? I thought
it
was.
It was pretty.
I said good, not decent. Great.
Again, I think this is better than I think maybe Warhorse, because Sky is like
an established star.
Yeah, and I think he got a decent amount of
I just thought it was supposed to be the story of two evenly matched wrestlers, one who's been given very few and is underappreciated, and one who's been given everything because of his family. I don't think they're
equal at all.
But they could have developed that more, and then I think I would have cared more, right? It's this idea that
Cody
talent-wise, they're the same, or maybe Scorpio Sky's better. He's just never gotten the opportunities Cody did because of his family and his everything else.
I think Cody is above this, to be honest. But
he might be.
He's not allowed to challenge for the world title.
It's more of this, like, he's the workhorse, right? He wrestles a big match every week sort of thing.
Yeah, and funny, I literally have my Cody figure sitting next to me right now. But
that you do. So back to more tag team
we got Luchasaurus and Jungle Boy, Jurassic Express taking on Hangman, Adam Page, and Kenny Omega for the World Tag Team titles.
Jurassic Attack in my...
That's a monster truck. Oh my god, wow. That's so funny. Oh yeah, that's like an old monster truck, right? Yep. Hangman's nameplate says needs to borrow money for new lawnmower. I just think that's the most random thing ever.
But it gets hilarious. Us to, we're paying very close attention every week, right? To see what's on there. So it's probably a good move.
And Kenny Omega, I noticed, was wearing his Double or Nothing 2019 attire. It's like the purple one, which is actually the same attire as the action figure I got. But yeah, it was like he reused a year-old attire almost. But anyways, that's fine.
And he's very wet. Was my note.
I did notice he's also like a little while ago reused this gray attire multiple times that I think he used when he had that Iron Man match with Pac.
Yeah.
But anyways, Frankie Kazarian was sitting in the crowd, social distancing, and also not with Christopher Daniels.
True. With his hair now, he's grown hair over the pandemic.
Yeah. I mean, I guess it looks better, but like,
I
don't really care. Omega and Jungle Boy would start the match. Omega would slap Marco Stunt, and Marco Stunt has to be held back by Luchasaurus, which is a funny sight, to be honest.
Yes.
Just because he's such he's so small, and he's just like, it's like someone's child is like, really hates a wrestler, and he's just like, and like trying to get him. It's pretty funny. Springboard arm drag by Jungle Boy, you know, your usual kind of like, he's done this before. A lot of people do similar things to this. A double team into a flatliner to Omega by Jurassic Express, Hangman blind tag. So that's where like he kind of like, so like they could be running the ropes on that corner and like he tags his back and like the other team don't usually notice. Sometimes like they fake still being like kind of hurt on the apron to like kind of portray that they're not tagged in, and then they kind of like sneak attack or something like that.
And the idea is the other opponent thinks they're still wrestling the other partner.
The idea is just to catch them off guard with this. It's not necessarily a dirty tactic. It's just more like a big brain.
Yep.
Luchasaurus would hit his usual hot tag offense, and like Nick Jackson, his hot tag offense is very nice.
And at some point right around here, sorry, I'm going to complain, JR says, so JR finds, like, he's old school, so he gets annoyed by the leniency the referees show in AEW.
Right.
So his quote was, "Are they timing the 10 count with an hourglass?" Right? Like, drawing the attention, like, the referee's not like, stop it.
It's referee's discretion.
And don't take me out of the match. That's your personal problem with this. Your job is
That's the thing you tweet out on Twitter or something, because then I don't care.
Your job is to put this product over. It's not to point out problems. Stop it.
Yeah.
Okay? Sorry, go ahead.
Sorry, I was drinking chocolate milk. 2 Snapdragons to Luchasaurus by Omega, which is always interesting. Marco is laughing at Omega, and he eats a pretty nasty Snapdragon on the outside, and then so does Jungle Boy.
Yep.
Hangman and Omega hit their usual double team flurry, but it's interrupted, you know, when like they do the German suplex and like the stuff in the corner.
Yes.
And, like, it always looks cool. I'd like to, maybe if I get a Hangman figure, I'll have to like watch it to try to master that a bit. And then what do I have? Luchasaurus stops a buckshot, which kind of made me sad.
Yes.
Luchasaurus throw Marco onto Omega on the outside when ref is distracted. I think that's an interesting thing that they keep doing, like where Marco's like interfering. I guess it's kind of like not heelish because it's little Marco, but
right. And he's so tiny, and I know I'd usually say like size shouldn't matter in things. It's only in extreme cases.
Well, like he's like Hornswoggle.
In a full match of just Marco, it's hard to get. It's a little bit suspension of disbelief.
It's not like cruiserweights against.
He can do some amazing moves, and just like in little spots once in a while is the perfect like sprinkle him in.
Yep.
I want a full dose of him.
Hangman powerbombs Jungle Boy.
Big powerbomb.
To the outside onto Luchasaurus.
Yep.
And that's pretty nice. Topicon Hilo by Omega. That's kind of usual run-of-the-mill by Omega. Brutal powerbomb by Hangman on Jungle Boy. And then Omega and Hangman retain via the last call, which is their buckshot V-trigger combination.
Right.
Good match. Kind of what you would expect from these two teams because they're both very good.
Classic FNS wrestling podcast style, I have fine, but I had high like I was like, yes, this should be awesome, and it wasn't bad. That for
It
sure.
wasn't bad, but it was not. It didn't quite live up to expectations.
Something about the final few minutes felt weird and kind of sloppy to me.
Just, I feel like it could have been a little more hype, kind of like the ending, like the last bit of the opening match, right? I think just could have been a little more hype.
It wasn't bad, and if somehow these two end up having a match at a pay-per-view or something, I would expect that it would be a lot better.
It'll probably,
and I would have time for it.
And maybe if they could have storied this a little more, I feel like it could be. But anyways,
it was good.
We had Butcher and Blade.
It was fine.
We had a Butcher and Blade interview, just another tag interview. Say Road Warriors are their favorite. Then we had the Arn, Tully, and the Rock and Roll Express segment. FTR and the Young Bucks would also be out there. Matt Jackson would praise the Rock and Roll Express for paving the way for teams like the Bucks,
right?
And kind of saying like that the Rock and Roll Express would kind of be like the Bucks or the modern day version of them, I guess.
I thought that was really cool because they really, as someone who watched. I mean, I'm a little too late for Rock and Roll Express.
Well,
I saw some when I was young,
though, right?
And it's you're seeing new versions of these teams.
And
basically.
Dax Harwood, aka Scott Dawson from the FTR Revival whatever thing, praises them for FTR and other teams to be able to make it because of the Rock and Roll Express and Brain Busters, Arn and Tully.
Yep.
Ricky Morton puts over the Young Bucks, which is good to see.
Yep.
Says Young Bucks are the best, and they've dominated the past 15 years of indie wrestling, which is quite true.
Yes.
I'm not sure if that's exact, but anyways. Arn also praises the Bucks, and Arn says FTR are the best. And it's kind of like the dynamic of Rock and Roll Express are like the Young Bucks, so they think the Young Bucks are the best.
That's right.
And FTR very much like Arn and Tully.
You support the team that works the same style as you, right?
Tully takes the mic from Ricky Morton, says you need the belts to claim to be the best. Tully still remembers All Out when Arn Anderson interfered with Sean Spears' match against Cody Rhodes. Spears appears on the ramp, and a near brawl breaks out between the old dudes. And FTR finally turn heel and attack Rock and Roll Express. And then now there's this interesting dynamic between FTR and Hangman, because Hangman's still very much a babyface.
Right. I like the full heel turn finally. I thought Tully was good. He was like the angry old man. There's this love fest of all the
get off my lawn.
And so he's the one going, this. Right. I kind of like that. And then
it's like this. I feel like in his eye it'd be like this love fest, and he's just wake up.
Yep.
You know.
So was this a great segment? Probably not.
I think it's better than I was expecting.
But I honestly think these guys wanted to honor tag team wrestling, and this was their way to do it. And this was even in my notes. God, this was a fine way to do it. and to build anticipation for the inevitable FTR Bucks. I'm still hoping they drag that out a bit, because that's the big match for me. Is to see those two teams go. But they do have some
crowds now, so we might be getting there.
Yeah, so that match, there's not much chance that match isn't awesome when it happens.
Then there's a Mike Chioda interview. Jericho interrupts and calls him Kiki.
Yes, which a couple times.
I wrote Kiki with CHI, so because that's how you spell his name. He wants Chioda to ref his match against Orange Cassidy and tells Chioda to do the right thing. Wink, wink.
Because Jericho's saying Chioda owes him a favor because Jericho saved his job or something in the past. That there's probably a story there.
Hikaru Shida versus Heather Monroe, and
I was like, what? Heather Monroe?
Talk about that.
I wasn't excited, but I just know her from, again, Championship Wrestling from Hollywood.
Yeah.
She's pretty much the only consistent female wrestler on there, and and then they sort of bring other ones in.
There's
so she's not great, but she's okay.
There's a lot of trash talk from Monroe. Ground and pound by Shida. I noticed MJF 2020 stickers on the barricade over the AEW logos, which is a nice touch.
That's a very Jack detail to notice. Yeah. I missed it, obviously.
Falcon Arrow is reversed into a near fall by Monroe, and Hikaru Shida will win by submission. I wrote, this is kind of boring and a pointless squash that belongs on Dark.
That's fair assessment, other than it's a champion and they're never on Dark. But yeah, it wasn't.
Well, yeah, but
there was
just
really,
the match quality, I guess.
It was just hey, don't forget about Shida. She's our champion. And I really like Shida. I think she's awesome, but you're right. This was just there. It existed.
Tony Schiavone interview, and there's a Jake the Snake Roberts promo next. Lance Archer, I literally wrote, is demolishing a random schmuck in the background, and then he rips off Robert's shirt, and it says "Everybody Dies" that's written on his back.
That was bizarre, but I still am entertained by Lance Archer just wrecking people every week. It's still not. It's kind of like when Braun was doing feats of strength, right? I was enjoying it pretty much every time.
I miss good Braun. I hope he goes back to that.
So I didn't get the ripping the shirt off part, but the part of him just throwing people around is always fun to watch.
The one time he threw a guy into the roof somehow.
That was still my favorite one.
Yeah. AEW is going to be at 6 p.m. on the Saturday, so for those of you who
that helps
watch
us.
it,
We could maybe record. No, we can't. We got to wait for NXT. Sorry.
We could watch it on Saturday at 6 p.m. And then we got FTR versus Private Party next week. Then we got the Elite versus Reynolds, Silver, and Five. Or aka Allen Angels.
Sounds crazy, but I look forward to that. They've built those
good,
smaller Dark Order guys up for me, and they're fun to watch.
Yeah, but I feel like they could have picked better members. I'm okay with 5. Reynolds and Silver, I'm yet to see something good from them, but I'm willing to give this a chance.
I actually thought the last match they were involved in, they were really good. Remember, they got so much offense, especially.
Yeah,
I think
but that was
Silver.
Almost weird though.
I'm open to it. I think they're cool.
Yeah, me too. But
all right,
and then we also got Darby Allin in action next week, and then we got an interesting kind of 8-man tag that feels a little random to me, but we got Lucha Bros and Butcher and Blade, which is they were already teaming, so I guess that side makes sense. But then we got Jurassic Express and a team we haven't seen in a bit, the Natural Nightmares, which for those of you who don't know, that's Dustin Rhodes and QT Marshall.
They are
I said it right.
Regular AEW Dark participants at this point. They're not so much main roster guys yet.
Anyways, oh my God, he said main roster.
Well, isn't that kind of true?
Yeah,
though?
I guess.
Between
but it's
Dark
just
and Dynamite?
That's so WWE. That's such a WWE
you're right.
thing
Keep
to
the
say.
WWE out of this. Sorry.
And then Saturday, on the Saturday one, we got Cody versus Brody Lee, the TNT title match. Also, again, I'm willing to give this a chance.
Yep,
right?
me too.
Orange Cassidy versus Chris Jericho, $7,000 obligation match. Best Friends and Inner Circle are banned from ringside.
Yep.
Orange Cassidy would fake his putting his hands in pockets to bait in Jericho, which I thought was kind of funny.
Yep.
Big flying shoulder tackle Cassidy, and I was amazed at how good that looked because I'm used to seeing John Cena's crappy shoulder tackles that aren't supposed to hurt because he's John Cena and he sucks. And a slingshot crossbody by Cassidy, and then Jericho sent to the stage barrier, which not the ringside barrier, but you know how the stage is level with the ring, and then they've got the barrier, and then the steps is in front of it. Yeah, but so it's he was sent into there, and hands in pockets dive to the outside by Cassidy. I love when he does this. I remember a while ago, when we still had fans, he did the suicide dive with his hands in his pocket, and that was just my favorite thing ever. It was just so cool.
Yeah, he's his character.
I'm amazed how much he can do with his hands in his pockets, and even with his sunglasses on sometimes.
For anyone that doesn't know Orange Cassidy, the character is he's the laziest. He doesn't want to do anything.
When the crowds are here, you do these not even punches, just tapping him and a fake super kick, and and at the one part actually he actually super kicks Jericho.
Yes.
Instead of doing a weak one to the leg, and the crowd will just go oh, and
I thought this
just to be
gimmick,
funny.
I didn't think I was gonna like it, and if I did, I thought it would have a shelf life of about a month, and then I would be done with it.
But now he's at the upper.
He's
upper
good.
Card, right?
Yep.
He had a top rope DDT, which never looked great. Although to be fair, he probably is good with it because the only other person I've ever seen do it is stupid Enzo Amore. Oh God, I do not miss him. Boot by Jericho finds its mark is what I wrote. That's a very commentary phrase there.
It was.
Jericho in control. We got a real picture-in-picture, and then my note in brackets is insert shock emoji here. Because we actually
got one when they said we would.
We come back to a stalling suplex by Jericho and shots. This is where he does the soft shots, and then he actually super kicks Jericho this time, which I thought was nice. Sorry, I kind of hiccuped or whatever.
Forgiven.
What? Multiple dragon screw leg whips by Cassidy. And then top rope dive by Cassidy is countered into the walls of Jericho. He gets his legs caught. And then small package by Cassidy for near fall. Ankle lock by Cassidy, kind of reminiscent of Jake Hager, ironically. A.k.a. Jack Swagger. Stunner counter by Cassidy to Jericho suplex attempt. Cassidy would actually kick at the code breaker, which is interesting.
Yes.
Kyoto takes Bad away from Jericho, even though he said, do the right thing, and then he's also tried to make Kyoto turn around.
Kyoto cannot be bought. He's honorable.
And Superman formed by Cassidy, Santana Ortiz, and Best Friends are brawling on stage, and Jake Hager would hit his kind of weird slam move thingy-majiggy, and
technical.
Cassidy still kicks out, and then roll-up maneuver by that they call the Mousetrap would get Cassidy the win here.
Yeah, I had Mousetrap question mark because I am not familiar with that term.
But anyways, I thought the roll-up was a little slow, and it's I wish it would have been a little more kind of just out of nowhere rather than kind of really set up like that. But I thought this was a decent match for what it was.
I thought it was just okay. I didn't love it, considering I think it's time for them to move on.
It was fine.
Right, pretty much. So I think
that wraps up AEW. It was not as good as last week, but it was still really good.
Overall, the show I enjoyed, right?
I think Tag Team Appreciation Day was a nice thing
every week I like. So a little disappointed because I was expecting really big things because I love tag team wrestling, and this is the most stacked tag division I've seen maybe ever.
But this is like very different from WWE, which I like, because WWE wouldn't even put a tag team in the main event, so let alone do a whole night dedicated to it.
Yeah. I thought it was a below average show, but again, that doesn't mean it's bad because their average is really, really good, right? So below average is still a decent show. But let me tell you, not to spoil anything, it seems way shorter than the same length Impact I watched. Both shows are 2 hours. One felt...
And NXT, I feel like, is
pretty
longer
quick
than
to watch,
AEW.
and one felt like a lifetime to watch.
Felt like Monday Night Raw.
Okay, so that wraps up Dynamite. We're moving
again, a good show. Like you said, like kind of an average show, but that's good because their average is... Like, they have a very high standard because they've been putting on such a consistently good product.
It's true.
It's like WWE's standard where like they've been doing shows for years, so a lot of them have been super crappy, so their average isn't going to be that great.
And again, the wrestlers on this show are still somewhat fresh to me, right? I haven't seen them for the last 20 years doing the same things.
Right.
All right, so we're moving into a lot of people's favorite segment, which is off the top of his head. So I asked Jack a question or give him a topic and just sort of let his trivial knowledge fly out of him. So this one I kind of know you've recently seen because that's where I got the idea, but I also don't think it matters and that you probably knew this before you, and it wouldn't matter even if because you've just been playing WWE 2K14 or whatever. So the topic is going to be Undertaker's The Streak.
Victims?
Yes.
Just like
so
every match.
Here's what I want you to do. You can probably do that starting. So you're going to tell me opponents, and do you want to go from the beginning or from the earliest?
So what's the first WrestleMania again?
Can you? Well, that's what I wanted to know. Could you?
Oh, it's WrestleMania 7. I think.
I was just going to say I'd give you a bonus mark if you knew which WrestleMania
I think it's Jimmy Snuka, right?
It was WrestleMania 7, and it was Jimmy Superfly Snuka.
Was WrestleMania 8 King Kong Bundy?
It was not.
It was Jake Roberts.
Correct, Jake Roberts.
Nice. WrestleMania 9 I know was Giant Gonzalez.
Correct.
WrestleMania 10 King Kong Bundy.
10, that is correct. I have Bundy. Wait, my list that I have here, it goes 7, 8, 9, and then skips to 11. Did he not wrestle WrestleMania 10 maybe?
Oh, maybe not. Then it's 11
But you're
King
right,
Kong
it
Bundy?
was King Kong Bundy, yes. So
okay,
you still get marks for that. So
them.
after King Kong Bundy?
WrestleMania 12. Ooh, what year would that have been? 1996.
If you say so.
I should know this, shouldn't I?
It was a singles match.
Duh, but
Against the big man.
Diesel.
Yes.
Ooh, nice.
After
WrestleMania
Diesel?
13 was Sid.
Correct.
So I know that was like
Do you know what kind of match it was?
Title match.
And no DQ. Sorry, I just have details. I'm just seeing how much you know.
After
WrestleMania
Sid? 14, what would that be? 1998. Let me think. Kane.
Correct.
Oh, I know that. I should know that one. That WrestleMania 15 would have been Big Boss Man.
Yes, we're in a streak of big men, eh? Bundy, Diesel, Sid, Kane, Boss Man.
And that was a Hell in a Cell match where Boss Man will get hung after that match. WrestleMania 16 is WrestleMania 2000, right?
It has another skip there. It's saying it goes from 15 to 17.
All right, WrestleMania X7 was Triple H.
Correct.
Then Ric Flair.
What kind of match was that? Do you remember?
I don't know.
No DQ.
Okay, Ric Flair was 18, right? Or
yeah.
No? Yeah.
Yes.
And WrestleMania 19 was A-Train and Big Show.
I can't believe you know that, and I can't believe that exists, to be honest.
WrestleMania
what kind of match was
20. It? Oh, it's a handicap match.
Correct.
Yeah.
20 was?
Oh, I should know this. I know. Kane.
Correct.
And then Randy Orton.
Correct.
Mark Henry.
Correct.
Casket match.
Yes, indeed.
WrestleMania 23, Batista. That was like the title match.
Correct.
Right? WrestleMania 24 was Edge, which was the main event, also title match.
Correct.
WrestleMania 25 was Shawn Michaels.
Correct.
The first one.
Yep.
26 was Shawn Michaels, which is the career versus streak match.
That's correct.
WrestleMania 27 was Triple H. Was that a no DQ match, I feel like?
Basically. Different name, though.
No holds barred.
Correct.
Right? Okay, I figured. WrestleMania 28 was Hell in a Cell against Triple H.
Correct.
And then WrestleMania 20. Well, we're at 29 now, right? Which is CM Punk.
Yep.
And then 30 is Brock Lesnar.
Yep.
Am I still going?
Yeah.
All the ones? Okay, then
all
Bray Wyatt.
Yes.
And then 32 was Shane McMahon, Hell in a Cell.
Correct.
And then no holds barred against Roman Reigns.
Correct. Wow.
Then against John Cena. Right?
Yep.
34. Then 35 he missed.
Oh, you were asking me because the streak was technically done. I was just scrolling through.
And then 36 was the Boneyard match against AJ Styles.
Nice. So you nailed it. You stumbled on one for half a second?
I think it's like because it's super old and like
right?
the Bundy thing.
That's pretty impressive. I would say you nailed that one again.
Right.
So another impressive performance, which moves us into the other big chunk of our show, which is
NXT.
our NXT review, which is my turn to do most of the talking here. So get ready.
I'm so glad I stuck you with this show.
Yes, it had its moments. So the show starts with a recap of the McAfee and Cole angle. I have in my notes that this is a bad sign.
I hate this.
And that this is clearly a high-profile feud as much as we dislike it, and we're going to hear a lot about it, probably.
I hate, like, mainstream, like, stuff. Like, it just ruins wrestling.
But really, how mainstream is even Pat McAfee? It's like they think he is, but he's not. Nobody knows who this guy is.
I literally had, when they first signed him, I had no clue who he is.
He's a punter from football.
But, like, it's like they're trying to put it off as if they signed Tom Brady or...
They did not.
Like, Gronkowski,
Look at you knowing
I knew who
sports
that is.
names.
Right? Yeah. Well, you watch football all the time, so...
I do.
And also, I don't know, he's, like, the most famous one, so...
So we're not happy about this start.
It's kind of like a non-wrestling fan knowing John Cena.
True.
Anyways,
that's a very good comparison.
Continue.
We get a recap of the Lee and Cross segment that I have to admit we completely missed in our review last week. I mentioned we had some recording issues. It wasn't recording of the podcast. It was recording of NXT. So long story short, we ended up watching it in 2 chunks and with flipping back and forth, and there was some intense frustration on that too. Apparently we missed that segment, so I apologize for that. So not very professional.
It's because of the way we watch NXT. A dad might be able to rant about this, but we can't even watch it on the freaking network.
I pay for the I think we've sort of hinted at this before. I pay for the network. I get that they don't put it on Wednesday night because... But
at the very least, Thursday would be nice because then we can maybe watch on Friday and then we'd be totally prepared.
We seem to get some abridged version, right? So then I go and find it.
Which is why we missed that, which sucks because we want to try to bring you full coverage, but... And
it makes me mad.
It's very hard to do.
I frequently, you hear me yelling, just let me watch the stuff I pay for, right?
And
I pay to watch...
I think what's very interesting is that we can perfectly watch AEW perfectly fine, right? Yep. Then NXT we struggle with, but then it's the same for AEW pay-per-views because we don't pay for them, right? We have to watch them on some second-hand thing.
Yeah.
But then we can watch takeovers perfectly fine. So it's like, you know what I'm saying here? It's like the opposite.
It's
okay.
It's not my favorite.
We're getting sidetracked again.
Morrow introduces their new nickname, I guess. The first couple of Carnage is what they were called, and we get.
That's not bad.
That's Cross and Scarlet. My bad.
Yeah, that's not bad though.
It's okay. And Cross and Scarlet enter.
Cross versus Birch.
I put that this crowd needs to be quiet. It really detracts from this cool entrance because you can, when it's so few people in the crowd, you can hear individual people yelling things and doing things.
Yeah,
and
it's like they're banging on the thing. It's like.
And just okay, don't do that. And some of the stuff they're yelling is just it detracts from this really cool entrance. So it's still an awesome entrance. They both look fantastic, and I'm afraid it's too good to stay at NXT. To be honest, I don't know how long these two will be here.
And we know that Triple H is a huge fan of him.
Yes. So we get...
How could you not be?
Starting out with Danny Burch is our sacrificial lamb here to come out and face Cross.
Indeed.
So Burch starts off fast. He wants to just get this guy as quickly as he can.
Yeah, one thing I noticed is he's using Oney Lorcan's theme now.
Yes.
He has like the same finger logo design, but it's got the British flag.
Yeah.
Because they do like the one finger up.
Yep. So they're, I guess now that they're a tag team.
Similar to your nose that I wrote very little weight to start match.
Yeah. Starts off fast with corner kicks and a headbutt and a clothesline to the outside. Cross drags him out and 2-hand choke slams Burch on the floor.
This was previously known as the Punjabi Plunge by the technical submission magician, Great Khali.
Yes, one of the great workers of all time. Back inside,
specialist.
Cross taunts Burch and hits an exploder suplex. Burch kicks missile drop kick from the second rope. That's really just made Cross angry now. So each deliver a German. Burch applies a crossface. And while in the crossface, Cross is just sort of staring at Burch and then just picks him up into a nice Doomsday Saito, which I thought was a cool spot. And then another really brutal Doomsday Saito, more taunting, and then he chokes out Burch with the Cross jacket.
Yeah.
So I have that accomplished what it needed to. Cross is a monster, and Burch is unafraid but overmatched, right? He can't handle it. So then we get Keith Lee coming out carrying a clipboard. he agrees.
Contract.
He agrees not to touch Cross until NXT 30 Takeover 30.
Yeah, and he calls him a little bitch and tells him to sign the contract.
So he won't touch him before that if Cross will sign the contract. So the crowd's overreaction to Lee's lines is starting to annoy me. Like, they just overreact to everything he does. It's like
so contrived and just
they're being
forced.
told, like, hey, he's a major star, so make sure you, like, everything he does is amazing. Yeah, it's too much.
Like, the normal crowds be hype, but it's like they know, like, I don't know. It's just like it feels stupid.
Scarlett takes it. The contract, Cross signs it. Scarlett shoves it back into the ring and stares at Lee, and there's complete silence, at least at this point in the arena, which I liked. Then Lee picks up the contract, and even though he watched them sign it, he feels compelled to open it and look at it, and surprise, a fireball flies out.
And I wrote after this, Lee sounds like a shrieking baboon.
And he rolls in pain while many refs and trainers come out.
Like, the way he sold it after immediately getting hit, it looked like he was having a seizure.
So he's really, really trying hard to sell that his face has been burned or whatever it is. And everybody, all the refs and trainers come out. There's just a ton of them there. And then...
Yeah, so then we had Drake Maverick versus Killian Dane.
Hold on. So I just wanted to say I like Cross, and it's weird because he's totally different from what I usually like in NXT. I like he's not a super fast worker, right? He's not the strongest wrestler. He's got a few moves that look amazing, but it's the entire presentation looks so good. The whole thing, the pair of them, the way they're presented looks amazing. It draws your attention, and they're going to be a huge deal. I don't care. Some people are sort of divided on Cross, but I think he's going to be a big deal. So Lee can be heard yelling, "Just give me Cross," as he's led out of the ring. And I put this as dragging on far too long, and now we're going to a split screen, right?
With their entrances.
So poor Drake Maverick and Killian Dane are clearly an afterthought here. It's
not
Drake.
That this match would matter, anyways. I think this is maybe on purpose. Like,
they chose these two because nobody cares about them, and the attention clearly isn't this match. Well, I'll get into it. So I have Drake Maverick versus Killian Dane in half the screen because as it's starting, these guys
and then Undisputed Era come out of a car after the commercial break.
Yeah.
They're like walking out of their car or whatever.
So there's a huge size difference between Dane and Drake that looks kind of cool. Drake is quick, but his strikes have no effect on Killian Dane. And then we cut back to Lee. So it's more of what's going on with him. Drake starts to attack Dane's leg. Nope, we cut back to more Keith Lee update. Dane's now in control somehow, because I don't know, because we didn't see it, because we were watching Keith Lee suffer. Kicks Drake on the ground, back to Keith Lee. My notes officially say, I quit. Clearly the match is meaningless, so I won't spend time recapping half of a pointless match. Undisputed Era arrive as Lee leaves in an ambulance. We're back to the ring with Drake kicking on the floor, etc., etc. So top rope elbow by Drake, and the Undisputed Era run in and take out both of them. Cole cuts a promo on McAfee saying that Pat is not special and that at TakeOver 30 he'll be stepping in the ring with, quote, that guy.
That guy who was champ for the past year.
He challenges McAfee to show up next week and meet him face to face, and it will suck for McAfee to know that there's nothing he can do about it. I thought Cole's intensity is good. He can deliver a promo, but the content isn't great. Like, what's he supposed to do? If Adam Cole's
right here, all I would say to him would be, I'm so sorry.
Right. So he's doing what he can, but this is not something I want to see or you want to see. Maybe people do.
If this ends up even sucking like at all, I'm not going to blame him. I'm going to blame Pat McAfee and creative.
Well, yeah, that's more me. It's rarely the wrestler's fault, right? Like, I'm pretty lenient with them.
And Adam Cole's one of
they're doing
one of the
told.
best, if not the best, they have to offer. And they're putting him in one of the crappiest storylines possible.
They are.
Why?
It's not great.
Why must they do this?
So we go to a recap of Legado del Fantasma attacking Breezango last week. Enough with Breezango,
please. Their theme is so badass. It's just like there's an aura about them.
It's good.
It really.
Kushida will survive whoever the mystery opponent is and will win.
Like
as it's Kushida's time to taste gold. He had a little promo there.
I didn't really note this because he was just all I did was he's speaking Japanese throughout until that last bit.
Well, it's tough because he's a good wrestler, but they brought him over, hyped him up, and then they've never really done anything with him. So for me, he's completely cold, and I don't love the Back to the Future gimmick he does, so they need to reheat him for me. We get Tyler Breeze versus Santos Escobar. Breeze is serious, I put when he comes in.
He doesn't have his cool boot things.
The Legado de Fantasma's theme and entrance is super cool.
Yeah,
Escobar sends
cool.
Escobar sends his crew away for this non-title match. He doesn't need them there. Escobar dominates early with strikes and stomps, hits a big drop kick, then more stomps and kicks and taunts. I wrote there's nothing lucha about this offense so far, so I don't know if that's intentionally like he's anti-luchador or...
Well, I think it's like he's trying to say that lucha is sacred. I think maybe because he's working heel. I don't know. I feel I agree. I feel like
it doesn't bother me. He doesn't have to.
I feel like he could work a little lucha though, because his whole thing's like that luchador.
And he's this defender of lucha, but it doesn't mean he has to work lucha. Maybe his two guys work lucha. Breeze has his leg taken out outside the ring, military press and drop on the apron, and a clothesline. Back from the commercial in the ring now. Escobar atomic drop and hits a big knee that I thought looked good. A phantom driver escaped and forearms by Breeze, kicks in the corner and jumping forearms. Supermodel kick and Legato show up. Phantom driver for 3 off of the distraction. Fandango comes out
wins.
And gets beaten down as well, and Swerve comes out for the save. I noted that he was targeting
the arm he had in a sling.
Yes, that's correct.
Yep. And this is obviously setting up this title feud that is seeming very imminent now.
Yes, with Swerve, which I'm fine with. I'm not sure Escobar should need a distraction to beat Tyler Breeze. He's capable of better than this.
Tyler Breeze is good, but just not right now.
I say it all the time. They need to get away from Breezango and somehow intensify that rivalry with Swerve, because I know that Swerve and Escobar will be a good match, but I want to care about it first. So sort of put some energy into building up whatever storyline you want there.
Right.
Next we get to
Dakota Kai.
What might have been one of my highlights of the show, because there weren't that many on this show I found. Dakota Kai's promo. Io's up on this pedestal, but Dakota has figured out how to beat her. She claims she's inside Io's head. She's outsmarted the genius, and she's done it all on her own. So she goes out of her way here to say that she's done with Raquel Gonzalez. She doesn't need anyone else.
Which is a shame.
We talked about it last week. I liked them together. I still like Kai no matter what. She doesn't need friends or insurance policies.
I'm wondering if they're done donors, maybe because there's something with Gonzalez right now where they can't get her in or something.
It might be, right? And they're just we can't wait any longer. We got to move on.
Could just be temporary.
So she just wants the title.
At the very least.
I like this. She continues to grow and impress me. She might be my favorite NXT wrestler at the moment. I guess a few of my favorites are in the women's division right now. Io, Dakota Kai.
I wish Io would be a heel again, though.
So I am really looking forward to this match. I think they're doing a nice job of building it up. Both of them have good promos this week, which we'll get to the other one in a bit.
Yep.
So I'm looking forward to this. I thought it was good. Ridge Holland gets a brief package. I didn't even make any notes on it. It was just whatever.
I literally wrote Ridge Holland vignette and then the next match.
He's in the infancy of his NXT career, so they're just going to spend some time building him up.
He has a stupid look, a terrible theme.
His look's okay.
And no reason to care about him. His club's dumb.
Attire is not good.
His attire's not great either. That's what I'm saying.
Yes. Jackson, not a big fan of Ridge Holland. I'm a little open to it. I wouldn't say I like him yet, but I'm open.
Let's just say this is how much I don't like Ridge Holland right now. I like Bronson Reed better.
I like Bronson Reed. Why you gotta bug the thick boy?
Wow, okay. You like thick boy now.
We're back to the ring. We get Indy Hartwell already in the ring, which for you non-wrestling aficionados is not a good sign. If you're already in the ring and you don't get an entrance, it doesn't usually end well for you. And
unless it's like AEW last week where in the big tag match there was nobody got an entrance. That's just because they're getting right to it.
Yes, that's different.
But if one person gets no entrance and the other person does,
they're
never a good sign.
And Mia Yim is returning from the hospital. So she actually used the word hospital, which is one of Vince's no-nos.
Medical facility.
Right. So we get a wrist lock by Yim to start. Foot stomp by Hartwell and shoulder block. Yim takes out knee with a basement drop kick. Boot to the face and Hartwell's down in the corner and takes a cannonball for 2. Hartwell takes control in the corner, but celebrates too early and gets chopped. Hartwell side slam for 2. Chin lock by Hartwell, broken many times. So I think I had in my notes last week that Hartwell did a bunch of chin locks. I think she might be the chin lock master here.
She's Baron Corbin's female counterpart.
Back elbow to Yim for 2. Slaps and taunts by Hartwell, who gets taken down by a double leg. 2 drop kicks and a neck breaker. Yim rolls into armbar and neck something or other for submission win. I wasn't quite sure.
It was weird.
It was like an armbar, but some pressure on the neck as well.
I don't know.
I'm going to take a look at it again.
I just wrote weird submission.
Yeah.
I also wrote Mia Yim needs to work on her drop kicks.
Well, and if you don't know what to call it, then there's no chance I'm going to know what to call it. You're basically the Mike Tenay of this partnership.
I don't know what that is.
He was a announcer on TNA and WCW that they would bring in for the super technical matches because he knew the name of every move. Kind
of like Mauro Ranallo used to be kind of like that.
Yes.
Remember? Where he was just he kind of knew everything. That's part of what made him so good.
Yes. So Hartwell needs experience, but there's potential there, I think. She's got kind of a cool look. Yeah. And Yim, this isn't nice. Yim is rarely better than decent, I put.
Yeah, I don't like her. Her theme is
her
bad.
Her nickname to me is Almost. She's almost everything. She's almost got a cool look. She's almost got a cool theme. She can almost wrestle really well.
Yeah, she's almost entertaining.
She can do a bunch of moves, but there's something about the speed that she does them, and I don't know.
It's not
I
that
feel
they're
badly.
Stiff. It's just they look slow. It's not like Luchasaurus where they're stiff and they look good, but it's
normally I would say, well, she's a veteran, right? So I can't say my usual. Well, she's just not got to get some more experience, and she'll be fine.
No, she's a veteran. So.
Okay. So
what are you gonna do?
Moving into a really quick Balor promo. He doesn't need to be political. You can check any demographic. Everybody's watching the Prince. Grimes, Kushida, and whoever the mystery opponent are will be easy pickings for him when he gets whatever the second chance match he's getting.
Yep.
Nice, short, intense heel promo. Nothing bad there. I thought it was fine.
And I wrote, actually, my note for this, hold on, is that, where is it? Good promo, but aside from these, they don't do enough to make him very heel.
No,
these are the only thing really keeping him heel.
And if you could have seen this guy in New Japan back when he was Prince
Devitt.
Devitt.
I watched the recount on YouTube.
He's so good.
Of the Bullet Club.
So basically, this was a time, I think, when WWE was trying to sign anybody that was hot anywhere.
They tried to sign him in 2009.
So they grabbed him and then, pushed him immediately, and then he got hurt there when he got to main roster, and they've just sort of not done much with him since then.
Which is a shame.
Which is too bad.
It's also very reminiscent of Dolph Ziggler's world title run. He cashed in Money in the Bank, but then got concussed at SmackDown taping, and they just soured on it.
And then he's not done much since.
Right, so sort of like that. Very
and because Balor still gets a crowd reaction and he can wrestle with anyone, he might be stuck in this role of I don't know what he is even.
I'm afraid he'll become
gatekeeper to the main
Cassius
event.
Ohno.
It's like a gatekeeper to the main event. If you beat him, you sort of are in main event. I don't know.
Yeah.
We'll see.
Also, I miss Cassius Ohno.
Yes. So Damian Priest is sitting on a couch, and Reed is swinging his arms around to contrast the different ways they're getting ready for their match, I guess. Priest is just a chill guy sitting on the couch.
Oh, yeah.
Triple H hypes the McAfee-Cole match.
Oh, yeah.
Thankfully, all that stuff happens not on NXT, so I can ignore it, because this was just a recap of stuff that happened elsewhere that I won't care about.
Yeah.
So we get Damian Priest versus Bronson Reed. I thought this could be a good match.
Bronson Reed's theme is not great. It's generic, but for in a bad way.
His entrance, I'm not a fan of, but
he's weird, hand taunts, like Tyler Bate. Remember when it was just waving like a innocent dork?
So as it was starting, I put, I'm not sure what will happen here, because neither one of them seems likely to lose right now, right? Like before I knew what was happening, just thinking I thought maybe it was going to be a non-finish somehow, because I felt like
kind of building.
They didn't want to,
right?
Right. So I was like, they don't really want to put a loss on anyone right now, but we'll see what happens.
I guess maybe Bronson Reed because he's the newbie.
So I noticed it for the first time this week. I don't know if he's been doing it in the past, that they shake the camera now when Reed stomps on the steps on his way in. Interesting. Kind of like we just watched Jurassic Park. It's kind of like that idea. He's shaking.
Oh, right. Yeah,
right. That's, I think, the illusion they're trying to make there. So Priest is doing his super laid back thing as the bell rings. Then we have a tie-up, and Reed shoves Priest. Priest an arm ringer, reversal.
Might I add, I love Damian Priest's entrance.
Yes, you do.
It's very great.
So Priest arm ringer, reversal. So back to a chin lock by Priest. Big collision, no advantage. Another collision, and Priest falls this time. They're sort of talking back and forth at some point. Big shoulder tackle by Reed and an exchange of strikes. Back elbow and leaping forearm by Priest. Strikes and a jumping enziguri. Reed catches a jumping Priest and eventually hits a jawbreaker. I wasn't quite sure what it was. It's impressive that he can catch Priest jumping at him. Priest is a big guy.
Right.
Commercial, we come back, and Reed is in a chin lock. So he powers out and punches Priest. We get a sit-out spine buster by Reed that looks pretty good. A fall-away slam and a senton for 2 by Reed. A flatliner by Priest. This is where things are sort of picking up a bit. Kicks and punches to Reed. Springboard senton off the ropes to Reed.
That was pretty cool.
He tries the vertical suplex Reed, kicks him, tries again, but gets a Falcon Arrow.
I wrote after a big yell, he hits a Falcon Arrow.
Yeah, yelling equals power up, right?
Yeah.
More power. Yeah. We get a suplex kind of brainbuster by Reed. They called it a brainbuster. I'm not quite sure it was, because I love me a brainbuster, but it was something.
It was something.
Another striking exchange, a roundhouse kick. Priest gets caught and takes a power slam. Reed up on top, sort of, I had. And he misses
But, like, the way he missed it looked weird.
Oh, that's why. He sort of missed the tsunami, yes, because he didn't really miss it, but he didn't really hit it.
It looked weird.
Priest rolled slowly or in the wrong direction or something and, like, got half hit by it. So, anyways, it looked awkward.
It did.
Priest attempts a reckoning. It's reversed for a jackknife pin, and Reed actually wins off of this jackknife pin.
I actually thought this was, like, fine. Like,
I liked it as well.
Fine,
I
like,
know what you mean.
Better than
fine. Yes.
Yeah, it was actually okay. They're making me, like, not totally hate Bronson Reed.
I agree. I wrote that the match was good, non-definitive.
I'm still not, like, a fan of his, but, like, they're making me not totally hate him, which is, I guess, good.
And the roll-up win is almost, again, right?
He's like the underdog.
He couldn't rely on hitting his finisher on this guy. This guy's too good. Like I got to win however I can win. So that's okay.
And it's not like a healed because I feel like a lot of times people could be like, oh, roll-ups are cheap, but, like, I feel like
there's a time and a place.
Sometimes desperation, not necessarily cheap. It's like
now WWE uses distraction roll-up far too often, but this wasn't that. Case of that.
But right.
So I
it's a matter of convenience almost.
When we started this podcast a month ago, I didn't really like either of these guys, and Priest is growing on me still.
I'm fine with Reed, and I like Damian Priest.
And I'm sort of the opposite. I'm liking the other one, and I'm okay with him.
Fair enough.
So moving on, we get a Shirai video now, and she's basically saying Dakota Kai uses people and throws them away when she's done.
I wrote that she said when she looks at Dakota Kai, she only sees the cute girl who was afraid of Shayna Baszler.
That's right.
And I like that. That's playing
she
off
was
what
back
used to,
then,
right? Like, and
Dakota's no match for her.
Shayna Baszler.
Dakota has pissed her off, and I love the choice that they're letting non-native English speakers speak their native language instead of trying to make them speak broken English like they did with some,
like Asuka
a little bit, right? Is let them speak in Japanese and put up subtitles. Trust that your audience can read, and and their personality and everything comes through.
I think this harkens back to an issue that everybody's mentioned, that WWE just assumes we're not that intelligent, that we need everything just as it is, and like AEW is like lets you kind of figure it out. Assumes we're kind of smart. Assumes you're clever. Assumes that you could figure things out for yourself.
Yeah. So I really like the promo. Love that she could speak in Japanese in her own language.
Yep.
So typical Grimes, good promo. If you like him, you like him. If you don't, it's probably nothing he can do at this point for you. So we get Casey Catanzaro and Kaden Carter against Mercedes Martinez and Aaliyah with Robert Stone. Obviously, the Robert Stone brand coming out together. Yeah, one thing
is, with Cameron Grimes, I like that he's, like, constantly been flirting with the title.
Yes.
Same thing for Damian Priest. It's just kind of like, these guys have kind of, like, been sort of getting opportunities and almost getting there. It's not like now they have a real chance.
I like how they're handling it, and I'm hoping Grimes wins, but I'm kind of okay with almost any of the contenders winning it, I think.
That includes Damian Priest.
I guess, yeah. That's fine.
All right.
So I wrote my expectations are not high for this match.
Yeah, one thing I noticed is Carter and Catanzaro only really used Carter's theme in Tron, which I find interesting considering their team. I find the same thing with Ricochet and Cedric Alexander. Funny enough, Catanzaro and Ricochet are dating, but anyways, where they only use Ricochet's theme and like not like a combination even, right?
Yes, because WWE loves doing those lame combo themes.
I'd almost rather that. At the very least, it shows that they're a team.
I guess.
Anyways.
So not high expectations. Mercedes Martinez, I say to everybody, looks cool, and I like her entrance. Stone touts that he gets the mic first and touts
You know what I wrote during her entrance is Mercedes is so kind that she wears a mask to the ring.
Nice. He offers Casey a spot on his Stone brand and suggests Kaden is holding her back, right? So he only wants Casey. He's not interested in Kaden Carter.
Yeah, because she doesn't look like much.
He calls Carter a loser, and he gets his foot stomped.
Yeah, because she like fakes a slap and then...
Yeah. The match starts with a quick double team by Carter and Casey. We get a blind tag to Martinez and a wheelbarrow facebuster to Carter.
Facebuster cutter.
Yes. Back from commercial, and Carter has been isolated and worked over in the corner by Martinez. Leg drop by Aaliyah for 2. Frequent tags by the heels. Martinez chokes Carter on the ropes.
In theory, that's like your ultimate tag tactic. In fact,
fresh.
Like in the 2K games, the current ones, when like you're playing, when they have health, you're going to want to do that, because I think that's like kind of something in real life where like you're kind of keeping yourself fresh, right?
Yes, so it's just like, smart tag work.
It's that tactic.
You keep bringing in a fresh person.
Right.
Carter kicked to Aaliyah's head from the ground and tags in Casey. Casey attacks Martinez in the corner, hits a rolling leg drop for 2. Aaliyah and Carter end up outside. Air raid crash to Catanzaro, and it's over.
Yep. This
Thoughts?
is fine.
I actually it was better than I expected. It started off fast. So here's what I think is happening. Catanzaro is new for sure, and I think Caden Carter's pretty new too, and I feel like they're for sure a tag team.
She used to be Lacey Lane.
But I feel like, all of the stuff they know, they did right away at the beginning of that match, right? They went through all their basically offense, and it looked fine. They started off fast, and it was a bunch of double teaming, and then it was like, that's pretty much all we know at this point until we learn more. I thought Aaliyah wasn't terrible, and usually she's really bad. I'm actually
fine with her getting this new kind of... It's like, if you had asked me like a year maybe and a half ago, maybe at least, if I thought that she would maybe have some role of somewhat prominence, I would have laughed at you and said that's stupid, because like for years she's just been like this jobber that's always been hanging around, and I'm actually fine with her getting the spot, because it's like, it's kind of like if Cassius Ohno had stuck around and then finally got like this mid card push, you know.
She plays.
Like she's finally getting her due.
Yeah, she plays a decent heel. She's not great in the ring and never has been, right? But
she's improving. It's like Carmella was bad and now she's tolerable.
Yep.
Same with Dana Brooke.
So Ripley comes out and approaches the Stone Brand in the ring. She rushes in and attacks Martinez until Aaliyah attacks from behind. Shotzi comes out to even the odds and clears the ring.
I don't like Shotzi. Oh yeah, I wrote stupid Shotzi Blackheart comes to help Ripley.
Yeah, well, don't be rude. You don't have to be mean to poor Shotzi. It doesn't mean she's stupid. You can not like her. That's fine.
You know what I mean, though.
I know what you mean. So we're at the Gargano's home, I guess, and he's doing renos. He's got a ladder out.
Yeah, it's like story. And
Candace is reading to the dog.
And was their editor on drugs? Because like at the one part,
it's intentional.
There's like... Okay, because it looks kind of weird.
So you get the video distortion, and Candace starts talking about Tegan Knox. There's some sort of distortion effect over top of it that Jack's referring to.
It was kind of distracting, and like you just kind of want to focus on like the
point. I thought it was. I'll say it was interesting, so I'm willing to see what they're doing with it. Right. I don't know if it's good or bad yet.
I don't think it was necessary. How about that?
Johnny refers to himself by a new nickname. Did you catch that?
What was it again?
The Wednesday Night, like KNIGHT. Get it?
Oh.
Okay.
Nice. And he calls Reed that thick boy guy.
Yeah, so he refers to Priest and Reed. He actually makes a fat joke that I didn't love. He refers to, I think, their appetites, and that clearly one of you has a bigger appetite or something like that, which I thought Johnny's should be above that.
It's like the short jokes that they always include.
Right,
not
you can
necessary.
do better. Personal appearance jokes, like that's just like be more clever, man. Do better. So there's more distortion. As he's talking about this, but he says none of them are Johnny Gargano. So TakeOver 30 will be the night he makes history as the first 2-time North American champion.
I kind of like as like you have guys like Gargano and who else would it be? There's like Velveteen and who's someone else? Oh, Roderick Strong, and like you just got these guys who like, well, obviously Roderick Strong's not in the race for it anymore, but like they're all like, there's kind of like this mini race that no one really is talking about, that like who's going to become the first 2-time champion, you know? Mm-hmm. There's always going to be, like, with the new title as this, because this title's only been around for, like, 2 years now, so it's relatively new still.
It is.
As is the Universal title. Well, no, because it's 4 years. Anyways, but, like, it's always, like, just, like, who's going to win it more than once first, you know? It's, like, you have the first champion, then you have the first multi-time champion.
Looks good on your resume, right? You're the first one to do something good, so it's good. I put it's interesting. I'm not sure how I feel about it. We'll see where they go from there.
And who knows? It could be forever until they have a 2-time champion. Like, the NXT tag team titles, like, they've only had there's only been the Revival who have won it twice, and then
what if I wanted to do this for off the top of his head? Now you're killing it.
And, like, even the NXT title, which has been around since 2012, there's only been 2-time champions, right?
I know.
So it's like...
You are correct. Not many. They're protecting it a little bit.
Right? And it's just like... You never know when it's going to be like someone.
It's true.
I'm hoping Cole could be a 2-time champion. Anyways, please continue.
Thatcher hurts more people in a video.
Oh, yeah.
He explains his technique from his last match while a guy moans in pain.
I just wrote teaching about submissions. I couldn't really, like, pick up a lot.
And that to earn victory, you need to adapt. So we talked about we kind of like these segments. They need to evolve, like, enough. It's been kind of the same thing, right? So the idea is
the segments are whatever, but I do kind of enjoy his style in the ring because, again, it's something different.
It's different. So I just think they need to keep doing these videos if you want, but change up, because it's just him every week hurting somebody and talking, right? Like add something to it. I don't know.
Maybe like hurting someone somewhere else. Like maybe like knocking them out, like by hitting them and stuff.
It was interesting at first, but you gotta change it or else it's gonna be less interesting, right?
The repetitiveness is a little annoying.
We get an update on Lee's condition. Cross is a dead man at TakeOver, is what we're told. So then we get the triple threat match to qualify for the North American ladder match. Grimes.
Yeah, and I also wrote, got Pat McAfee versus Adam Cole face-off next week. Got Legado del Fantasma versus Swerve and I think Breezango next week.
Nice.
I believe. And then we got Gargano versus Holland next week.
Yep.
And then Balor versus... I already know who the mystery partner is. But
so if Holland's ever going to look good, it's going to be against Gargano.
We're about to reveal it, so I'll just say it. But Balor versus, Velveteen Dream.
Okay, so we got a mystery opponent coming out that we just spoiled. That's okay.
Yeah. Well, we're about to say it anyway, so I figured it's fine.
Kushida and Grimes enter, leaving the mystery partner to arrive, and it's Velveteen Dream.
He has a weird goatee, and it looks kind of stupid.
He's finally back and does his usual slithering around the ring and his entrance, right?
I must say, this is really a testament to NXT's ability to get somebody over, because when he first started, I did not like him at all, and now
he was brutal. He didn't know what he was doing.
I quite enjoy him.
He was learning his character.
I think it's that Aleister Black feud that really kicked it off, even though he got kicked.
And he's had some issues outside of wrestling that I don't want to get into too far.
Which is why he's been missing in action a bit.
There's some question as to whether he should be back yet.
Oh, yeah, I saw this news story today, and it's like, whether they actually investigated it like thoroughly or not.
So anyways, without getting into it, he is back. However you feel about that,
I'm fine with it, honestly. I like him.
So everybody fights to start. Dream gets thrown out and Kushida arm drag to Grimes. Dream and Kushida wrestle for a while until Dream goes out of the ring.
The beginning was quite wild.
Yeah. Kushida, it was hard to keep up with my note taking.
Right. I didn't even really make too much note of it, but it's a thing that you kind of remember.
Yeah. Kushida and Grimes are in the ring. Big tornado DDT by Kushida to Dream outside. Kushida gets crotched on the ropes by Grimes. Grimes corner kicks and stomps Kushida during the commercial. For some reason, I watched the
noted that Dream gets continually wiped out by Kushida. Like, he did like that handspring kick, which I think is interesting, which led to something later on, which we'll talk about later.
Right. But Dream sneaks in and rolls up a celebrating Grimes for 2. Dream sent outside and Grimes controls Kushida with submissions. Kushida powers up and fights off both of them. Kicks to both by Kushida. All 3 are down from kicks and strikes. Dream clotheslines Grimes over the top and double axe handle to the floor. DVD to Kushida and Grimes throws Dream out.
Dream Valley Driver, not Death Valley Driver.
Yes. Grimes throws Dream out after the big DVD to try and steal the pin. But Dream then drags him out, and they fight outside.
Yeah, it was kind of interesting, because you always see in triple threats when trying to get the cheap win, throwing the other person out, right, to get the pin.
Yep.
But I think this was like Dream kind of landed on his feet, so he didn't get taken out, and then kind of stopped it anyway. So I like that. It's a take on a thing that they've done a million times.
And it's perfect for Grimes' character to try that stuff, because that's exactly what that sneaky weasel would do, right? Is try and steal someone else's
Adam
pin.
Cole thing as well.
Yes. So Grimes and Kushida on top. Kushida hits a diving flip to Dream outside. Then Grimes and Kushida both end up on top, and there's a flip down into the Kushida armbar. I don't know what that says. He grabs Dream and applies the hoverboard lock. There's like 3 typos in that line, sorry. Dream rolls through and picks Kushida up on his shoulders. Kushida struggling to get Dream's arm, takes a cave in. So I did a really bad job of describing the finish, but it looked really good.
What it was Grimes, Kushida has Dream in hoverboard lock while Dream is still standing.
Yes.
And then Grimes hits the cave in. I thought this was a really clever
Me too. I loved it. And I love that Dream...
And then he kind of rolls Dream out and gets the pin.
Right. I love that Grimes wins, obviously, because I love Grimes, but the finish was cool. Again...
The way they did it was sneaky, but not necessarily cheap.
It's Grimes as the opportunist, right? The opportunity was there. He took it, hit his finisher.
Speaking of, I feel like if it was Edge, the Ultimate Opportunist, you could probably still have speared Kushida.
Yeah. But I really liked the ending. It made the match actually a lot better. The match was... Almost said fine. The match was good.
I think it was good.
Yeah, and the finish made it better.
Fine again.
Agree. So I have Grimes wins. I was excited about that. Dreams comes back and beats the hell out of Kushida here.
I wrote Velveteen Dream heel turn question mark because they made it unclear.
I put him as, well, I meant to put to establish himself as heel, but I put establish himself as shell, so maybe he's a shell instead. It was a typo, obviously. And set up a feud for his comeback, right? I assume that his first opponent will be Kushida. He probably goes over Kushida. But he's
fighting Balor next week, though, which is weird because Balor's heel. We'll see what happens. We'll keep y'all
So Dream
updated.
celebrates, and Balor shows up to stare him down and stick his fingers in his face. Yeah, so maybe this will be...
That's so wrong in context.
But he does, right? He does the finger guns right in his face.
Okay, you should say that next time.
Sure. It's a pretty fun match. Nice to see Velveteen back, I guess. And it was really one of the few highlights of this show, I thought. My overall comments were weak show overall. The main event was good, and the cross match was okay, and the Dakota Kai promo.
Are you ready for it? The show was fine.
Yeah. The Dakota EO promos I thought were good. Yeah. The cross match was good, and the main event
what it needed to be.
Was slightly above fine, right? So overall, not...
AEW definitely won.
I agree. AEW is victorious again, in our opinion, this week.
And in the actual ratings.
And it was for me, it was a below average episode of AEW, and it still beat NXT. So I'm really hoping NXT at some point comes through for me, because
it's a real fall from grace from the great thing it used to be.
Yes, it's true.
Yeah.
So moving into any other wrestling business, I'm gonna drastically speed mine up because we're already at an hour and a half here.
Ooh, well, I've got a bunch of stuff to go still, or am I figuring it out? So.
I know, so we'll get there. So let me...
Can we just do the Women's Tag Cup quick? Because I also have that. So that's just a couple matches.
Absolutely.
So I honestly almost forgot what it is. I know, so... Okay, you do it because I kind of forgot.
What, the Tag Cup?
Yeah, I know that, the matches. I think there's, Rachel...
So it's the second round, a.k.a. the...
Is the other bit of the first round, I think, right?
So we get...
I think we're still in the first round, so I think semifinals is next week.
Second night, right, is what they're calling it.
Yeah.
So this won't take long because it's only like a half-hour show.
Also, who cares?
Swole and Lil Swole are a tag team against Leva Bates and Rache Chanel.
Okay.
Whose character is dialed right up.
Big Swole is little, and Lil Swole is big, and neither of them are swole. So this is very stupid and angering.
Okay, you use stupid too much. Pick a different
dumb
word, please. That's not any better. Anyways, so the Swoles win is all I have because I didn't really care.
This is lame.
Diamante Evilise versus Dasha and Rachel Ellering. So Dasha's super pumped because she didn't know she was going to be able to wrestle. She's normally just an interviewer backstage. But she has been training to wrestle. And
what I noticed is they didn't call her Dasha Gonzalez anymore.
I think she's former bodybuilder or powerlifter or something. She's in phenomenal shape.
They just called her Dasha.
She's been training.
Which is weird.
And Rachel Ellering. So Dasha has an athletic background. She was actually in Titan Games, which is no joke if you've ever seen it. She participated in that show. Evilise and Diamante.
One note is that Rachel Ellering is not very in shape.
Well, no, that's true. She's not in the best shape, but I actually liked her in the ring.
Yeah, I'm just waiting to see more for her. I think that's a lot of cases when there's someone new, but I'm waiting just to see something.
Hey, I saw her on Dark too. She looked pretty good.
We'll see.
So Evilise and Diamante are a decent heel team, but there's really not going to be a division, I don't think. So I was wondering, what's the point? There's clearly not enough tag teams to have a division. So anyways, Dasha's playing the face in peril, getting sort of beaten up and trying to hot tag Ellering. She does get the hot tag, and it was decent. Dasha takes a wheelbarrow cutter from Diamante like a champ. I thought it looked actually pretty good. Code Red by Evilise to Dasha for the win. It was better than the first match because Evilise and Diamante controlled most of it, and they're veterans who are actually pretty good.
I got a couple things from SmackDown. I was going to cover them quick because I know you got a bunch of Impact stuff.
I'm not even done this. Hold on.
You're not done? Okay.
And I think this was my favorite match of the tournament so far.
Yeah.
Swole's cut an energetic but obnoxious promo after I put. Dasha says, hopefully this won't...
I've seen Lil Swole before, and
I didn't recognize her.
I can't remember.
Dasha's choice of words was interesting. She said, I know this was my first loss, but hopefully not my last. So she's hoping for... I guess she's hoping for more opportunities.
Nicole Savoy. I knew. Yeah,
Evilise and Diamante respect each other, and that's all that matters where they come from.
Because they did have that match on Dynamite, so interesting.
I put, this is pretty much a waste of time. There's no new talent to get excited about or any new interesting storylines being developed.
I was very hyped for this.
It feels like AEW Dark, which I'm going to talk about shortly, for women thrown into tag teams, which is not a compliment. The only pro is that it's half an hour, so you can basically, and even less if you skip the self-promotional stuff.
Right. Do you want to do a quick Dark recap, and then I'll cover
my Dark
stuff?
recap is to say this. I did do a pretty lengthy recap of Dark, and to be honest, I'm going to stop watching Dark. There was no point to it. There's literally 100% just jobber matches and no storylines developed. So for now, I don't think I'm going to watch any more Dark. I may check in or just see summaries of it because there really isn't anything there.
I think what you should maybe move into is, just as a suggestion, maybe just covering results.
Yeah, like that might be all.
They do have them on scroll sometimes on Dynamite, so maybe just look at that.
So even the main event in this, which I was kind of looking forward to, is SCU and Butcher and Blade, and it was okay. It wasn't great. Was it
Daniels and Kaz?
My basic thing was this was tough to get through. The first half is not worth watching at all.
Was it Daniels and Kaz? Right? No. Who was it?
It was. Oh yeah, it was. Sorry, it was. So yeah, Dark. Don't worry about it. Really.
Okay.
I was going to talk about Impact quickly. Do you want to do that now?
I have a couple SmackDown things I'd like to mention.
Go ahead.
And then, you can do your thing.
Yep.
Braun Strowman's now bald and, kind of going heelish a bit. I don't think this will mean The Fiend being face. I think it'll mean him being a tweener because he's this monster. I think he can go either way. It's because I think a lot of people do like him.
Who, Braun?
No, The Fiend.
Yeah, they do.
And then, anyways, he attacked Alexa Bliss a bit to call out The Fiend, and there was this whole segment where they kind of had a laughing battle and whatever. Retribution, quote unquote, destroy. I have quotation marks. SmackDown backstage area, and I know you have some thoughts on this.
I hadn't seen any of it. Right, you had told me about it last week, and I've been listening to podcasts, obviously, where they talk about it. So I watched the summary of it at the beginning of this week's Raw, I think it was, and my instincts were honestly to laugh. It doesn't look serious. They don't look threatening and intimidating.
And you said very not like the Nexus one.
Just not. It just seems really, and everybody having to act like they're terrified and that there's people flipping the lights on and off. My instincts were to laugh. So this is
flicker the lights right now, and then you have to be scared.
I thought it was pretty lame, but we'll see where they go with it, I guess.
And another thing that annoys me about this is you said they don't even know who it's going to be yet. So, you said they're teasing Dijakovic, but none of them are his height. So, it's not it's like they could have, who's someone tall in NXT. So, say Dijakovic there, and then we look back on these and be like,
no,
what?
There was nobody that tall.
Right?
So, it was interesting because your mother, my wife, came in at that point, right? And she asked us, do you guys know who they are yet? Because they were all in masks. And my response was, not only do we not know, I'm not convinced WWE knows who it is yet, right? They can decide whoever they want.
It's Aircrow and Spider.
Sometimes it's clear they don't have a fully formed idea. They're just why don't we start with this and then...
Oh, we have the anonymous GM. Oh, we don't know who it should be.
Now, maybe in this case, they have it long range planned and it's going to be brilliant. But so far, my instincts were to laugh at it because it did not look good.
All right, cover your
Impact. I'm going to go really fast. It started out with a recap of Rich. I enjoyed some and not a lot. Recap of Rich Swann's retirement, and then we get Eric Young, who's now going by the World Class Maniac, against Willie Mack. Willie Mack's out there not to win the match, but to send a message to sort of avenge Rich Swann's injuries. Anyways, it was a decent match. Both wrestlers are good.
I know you like Willie Mack.
Willie Mack does things that don't make sense based on his body type.
Kind of like Keith Lee.
He's incredible. Right. Good brothers look for Ace Fulton backstage.
I wish I could have seen more of Willie Mack because I haven't seen him. But maybe
it's good. We should watch some Lucha Underground sometime. Go back and watch that.
If Impact gets these sort of crowd-ish things, then I will watch it. But as long as they remain in this empty arena, I refuse to watch it.
So, and because of the empty arena, they're doing stuff like Wrestle House, which I'm getting into, because you can film these lengthy segments. Because if a crowd's there, right, they're not going to want to watch it.
You said it wasn't great last week, so how was it this week?
Probably worse. So the first segment was Taya's trying to make the whole house watch her greatest hits. Cousin Jake and Susie are missing. They're sort of teasing there's some sort of romantic thing happening there. Alyssa's painful to watch act again. Taya's good, I think, but they're giving her crappy stuff to do. She's delivering it as well as she can.
WWE, but she's good.
Nothing worth talking about. Jody, cousin Jake and Cody are chatting as he's getting ready for his date with Susie. That Jake, that is. And this segment's over for now. It's good. There was just nothing. This is just several short segments thrown together with no real link or anything to it. So back at Impact, Reno Scum.
I don't like them trying to do a reality thing with something that's so fake.
And full marks for trying in the pandemic era, but it's not good.
It's something different, but...
So back at Impact, Reno Scum attacked Rhino for some reason. I don't know why. We get Kimberly versus Jordan Grace. I really like Jordan Grace. She's a former power lifter, pretty good wrestler.
Yeah, she's interesting.
Kimberly, I looked up. She's from CZW, Shine, Shimmer. She's experienced
Yeah, I've heard of her, because I read a Pro Wrestling Illustrated magazine, so yeah, I've heard of her. And that's also where I heard of Lil Swole before.
Yep.
this, but
so the finish has Lee attempting a senton from the top. Grace gets her knees up, rear naked choke for the win. Decent match. I like
that,
Grace.
Like a sleeper, right?
Yeah.
I think.
And Kimberly looked okay too.
Okay.
Locker room talk with Madison Rain. I put our podcast may have better sound than this segment. How is this possible? As they're an actual like production company, and it sounded like garbage.
Yeah.
She's got a new sponsor. It's Heath promoting himself. He still has kids and needs his job. So I put, please get away from this character and do something else. Like, don't just redo.
Heath is better than this.
Don't just reprise your role in the WWE here. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
His promo is cut off, and Madison says his money is good as anyone else's. RVD and Katie show up, and they're absolute trash and unwatchable. Like, I get upset watching RVD, who at one point in my wrestling career was literally my favorite wrestler.
I kind of feel bad for you then, because you've seen him at his peak.
It's embarrassing garbage. Don't watch it. Sami Callihan magically shows up in Reigns' chair and attacks RVD. And I put poor Sammy having to be involved with these two because I don't mind Sami Callihan.
I've said this many times, but Impact in 2018 when we went was so dang good.
It was.
And it's
now
just
not so much.
Not.
Some parts are actually. Rascals are backstage talking. They're tired of Trey not taking things seriously. There's a suicide mask gets put on, and Moose thinks it's actually suicide, so he comes up and challenges him to a match. We go back to Wrestle House. I'm scanning through to see if there's anything worth telling you. Jake and Susie's date starts. Susie says she has the runs, and that's it. So it's like poop jokes. Haha. And she runs off. Wow. So, yeah, anyways. The big guy I put, because I don't know his name, loves Rosemary and will fight his partner because he thinks some things are more important than food.
Jake is the big
so
one,
AC
right?
Romero's partner. I can't remember his name, and I couldn't be bothered to look it up. So we get AC Romero versus his partner. I put Cody's the ref in slides holding a beer, which was amusing. It's a 90-second match ending with a punch. So I put some of the performers in Wrestle House are doing a good job. Taya, Swinger, Stevie, Crazy Steve, Kylie, but they're given such weak stuff to perform.
Right.
All of the matches are crazy and pointless.
They're obviously comedy matches.
I'm losing patience with these segments.
I saw on Instagram of the Deaners fighting over who was snoring.
Yep. Yeah, oh, yeah.
Like, are you kidding me?
No, it's real.
In wrestling.
One of the highlights of the show, Purrazzo cuts a promo about how Grace's behavior is not suitable for a champion.
I'm amazed at how, she's been pushed and, because she never did anything in WWE. Nope. Like, it's good for her.
To say it delicately, she's always had the talent. They don't love her look, right? WWE, that's not a WWE look.
They love, your Charlotte Flairs and your Mandy Roses.
So, she's going to give her a rematch to Jordan Grace at Emergence in the first ever 30-minute Knockouts Iron Man match. So Purrazzo looked cool with the belt and this 30-second
I like the shape of the belt. It's kind of similar to the AEW title. She's got that kind of descending into smaller plates.
Yes.
You know? I like it.
Purrazzo's the best technical wrestler and wants to prove it to Grace. So we get an Iron Man match between the technical wizard and the powerhouse, which I think should be cool to watch. The North.
And for those of you who don't know, Emergence is going to be kind of a lot of things that AEW does, where it's just a special 2-night
yes,
thing.
Yes, it's their TV. Show, 2 weeks of their show being called a pay-per-view, basically.
Right. Which I think it's an interesting approach in this day and age in wrestling, where it's because especially for a company like AEW who doesn't do a lot of pay-per-views, it's a good tactic.
Yep, I agree.
And it gives a little a little more importance to those shows.
And normally those shows do deliver, right? They are really good.
They really do feel like super cards that you're getting for free.
Yep. We get the North, one of my favorites, against
I like them.
in a Motor
we got
City.
A picture with Josh Alexander.
We did.
Right?
Motor City Machine Guns promo.
Alex Shelley looks cool. He's got cool hair.
Yes, he does. They are the influencing tag team in wrestling. If you look around, this is what the North are saying, that they're the ones that everyone's watching. The Machine Guns were the best.
They're Canadian, right? That's what they're called. The North.
Heck yes.
Yeah.
The Machine Guns were the best, but not anymore. The Guns have come to Impact because of the North, and the Machine Guns were fresh after 8 months, and the North were battered at the time the Guns won.
Also, can I say their tag titles also look cool?
So that's the the North heel logic here, right? Is that sure you beat us?
I love heel logic when it makes sense with a certain perspective.
Yeah, so they're saying, Machine Guns, you've been resting for 8 months, and you came in fresh, and we've been here fighting and defending and whatever,
right.
So you kind of snuck a win over us. Good package.
I like it.
I'm looking forward to this match. This is one of the things I'm enjoying about Impact is the North, and the Machine Guns should have an awesome match. Havoc and Nevaeh, that's heaven spelled backwards if you didn't know, versus Tasha and Kiera Hogan in a no DQ.
I didn't know that.
So actually Nevaeh I thought looked pretty good. And
is she somebody
I don't know. She might
from
be.
somewhere?
Hogan hits her finisher for the win. It was actually a fun, fast-paced match, and I was impressed with Nevaeh. I don't know who she is. I may look her up at some point.
So that's Heaven spelled backwards, really? Yep. I didn't know that.
More Good Brothers talking to Scott D'Amore. They're going to wait in the ring until they get Ace and Fulton come out, right? So D'Amore says he's getting a Nash and Hall vibe from the Good Brothers, which I thought was not a reference I wanted to hear because I don't want to see the Good Brothers playing Hall and Nash being too cool. And anyways, it's not something I wanted to hear.
Too sweet.
EC3 cuts a promo on the screen behind Moose. He's here to destroy what Moose is synonymous with. Moose is confused. It was a fine 30-second spot. ECW sounds good. Suicide versus Dez.
Wait, did you say ECW?
Or EC3, sorry, sounds good. Suicide versus Dez with Wentz. I'm just trying to get through quickly because it's not that important. Good Brothers show up and clear the ring. Magic Killer to Suicide. Did not like this. It makes the Rascals and Suicide look weak. The three of them get dominated and then just leave. They don't even try and defend themselves. So Ace and Fulton appear on the screen. Ace says they're going to get their match, but on the terms, which is night 1 of Emergence.
So what happened to OVE exactly?
And I put, if Ace jobs to Good Brothers, I'll be angry. They're still there. They're just not really involved in much right now. So they attacked they attacked Rhino on this show for some reason.
No, but is they still like a group? Because I think...
No, not with Callahan. OVE is just the tag team now, as far as I know.
I thought one of the Chris joined Joseph Ryan. And oh, wait, that dissolved too.
Oh, no, it wasn't. I'm not even talking about the right team. It wasn't OVE. I don't think it was... Was it Reno Scum? I got them confused, I think.
Reno Scum.
You might be right.
Anyways.
Flashback segment. Flashback segment, a.k.a. washroom snack break, as Cody and Eddie Edwards. Bay talks to Rohit backstage. Rohit suggests making the upcoming title match a triple threat with him in it so that he can help double team TJP and keep an eye on Falaba, right? Which is his heel logic. Like, why don't you put me in the ring? I can defend Falaba if he interferes, and I can help you with TJP.
Wink, wink.
Bay agrees, which I don't love, because, I mean, it's pretty obvious, right? Like, why wouldn't he just say, just come with me to the ring, and you can do the same thing? You don't need a title shot to protect me from Falaba. So anyways, I didn't love that Chris Bay agrees.
And isn't Chris Bay supposed to be smarter than this?
And Bay's basically, his logic is, well, I've already beaten Rohit, so it doesn't matter if he's in the match. So I didn't think it makes sense. I didn't really love it for Bay because I like Bay. I don't agree with his logic here.
You said watching Impact feels long. Well, covering Impact feels long.
Right. So we get a Brian Myers tease. His thing is...
That's your fault.
His thing is he's the most professional wrestler. Which I thought...
A.K.A. Kurt Hawkins.
I'm not looking forward to seeing him. So the third segment of Wrestle House, right away Susie reminds us she has the runs.
More Wrestle House.
Susie starts glitching at some point and showing signs of maybe Sue Young, so which I have Sue Young in Wrestle House. Yes, please. In Wrestle House might be funny.
Oh, I love Sue Young.
Anyways, Susie and Alyssa
Good memories of Sue Young.
Susie and Alyssa, so bad. Crazy Steve as the ref is funny. He's counting like 7-9 potato or his counting and stuff, which I thought was interesting.
That's great.
Roll up for Susie in yet another short, pointless Wrestle House match. And my next note is, how has this not been 2 hours already? Because it's still, I feel like I've been watching it forever and there's still more to go. So Emergence Night 1 is next week. So the main event is Eddie Edwards for his open challenge, and we don't know who it is.
Brian Myers.
And it is... So Eddie grabs the mic and challenges Eric Young, but Brian Myers comes out, which I thought was like... I was not looking forward to this. I'm not a Brian... I don't get what he's doing here. However, Myers...
I'm surprised him and Cardona aren't in the same promotion.
Myers says in Eddie's hands it's just a belt, but in his it'll be a championship because he's the most professional, whatever.
He's not.
So they promote Myers' podcast, which I thought was interesting because it's co-hosted by an AEW wrestler, right? So it's interesting. I'm not keen on Myers as a major signing, but I thought he looked good, and I actually didn't mind this promo. Champ. So now we get into the match. Oh no, sorry, it's not. It's come. Oh, the match actually was long, but I thought it was really good, and I was not wanting Myers to be there, so I'm willing to admit when I'm wrong or they change my opinion. He actually looked pretty awesome, and it was a pretty good match. I liked it. I don't like his ring gear. I think it looks bad, and the mask thing he had on for a while looks dumb.
Right.
But his the match was really good. He looked good. Edwards wins with a highly competitive match. He wins with his Boston Knee Party. Super good showing. I went from like, I don't get why he's
Boston
here.
Tea Party.
I don't want to see him. I don't get why he's here. To like, oh, he looked actually really good, and I will be looking forward to it.
Reed now.
So good for him. He kind of won me over. And that wraps up Impact, which overall wasn't great. But again, the tag team title match that's coming, I'm interested in. The Myers debut was actually really good, and not much else really was. Okay, so
nice.
I wouldn't say go to your way to watch it. I'm hopefully going to let you know when you should watch it.
Yep.
Anything else from you? And then, or we're moving in?
I don't have anything.
All right, our final segment, as always. Yep. And he has some stuff to talk about this week.
I have a bunch of stuff, actually.
Is we call it Figuring It Out with Jack. So
and this is going to be a little longer, so I'd just like to thank everyone for, if you're listening this far, then thank you, because this might be a longer episode. But
so this is where he takes a few minutes to talk about the world of wrestling action figures, of which, as we talked in segment 1, he just received a box of. So go ahead.
I talk a lot about the figures, right? So I'm going to just try to give some background on this for those of you who don't know, just kind of like, because like Dad said, this is going to be very niche to the people who actually care about this. So maybe just give some necessary information, so to speak.
Yeah, so that you can sort of, because I pointed out he's so passionate about this topic that he doesn't even notice that he's maybe making references in terms that the average layman in this field might not understand, right?
So what I'm going to go through today is going to be how many figures are in each wave of each type of figure, and what's the difference between these types of figures.
Well, and first, what do you even mean by a wave? Like, people are like, what?
Wave is like each series in the... Okay. And so first I'd like to cover a bit of news regarding AEW figures. Now, so right now, as it stands, and originally they were supposed to be Walmart exclusive, but in Toys R Us, in Canada, sorry, they're going to be also sold at Toys R Us, which is good. Great news for you. And the US, they're coming soon to Target, and they're also going to Smith's in the UK, which is one of their stores. Yeah, it's
a bigger one there.
And there's also going to be some playsets coming soon, which is possibly Trent's mom's van. So that'll be funny. And then maybe a golf cart with Sammy Guevara. And all right, so then I'm going to go with the difference between basics, elites, and ultimate edition. So basics here are like $15, right? And they truly are basic. They have no body articulation. They've cheaped out they have no like upper arm articulation. And they can't like move their legs to the side. The legs only move like forward and backwards.
Fewer moving parts, less flexibility,
but cheaper.
Less
and then
posable,
elites, I have one right here, is Matt Hardy. Obviously you can't see, but so you're gonna have the body articulation, right? And then you're gonna have the upper arm articulation, and these also now come with interchangeable hands, which you can just yank them off and change them out for something else.
Right. So if they have like their own patented hand signals they use or whatever, they'll have that.
Like this Matt Hardy I just got, he has like a V1 hand signal, so it comes with those hands.
And the average cost of those is what? Double of a elite or double of a basic?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And these are like around $30, right?
30 to 40 depending on what they come with.
And so these have double jointed knees, which means they articulate in 2 spots. And also on the basics, they stopped doing ankle joints. So yeah, the elites will have ankle joints, and they can have their legs go out to side. So do like, think of it as like they could do the splits, sort of, or like do a super kick.
And the elites, you're more likely to get accessories.
Yeah, you get accessories. And you get like quality. Entrance gear. You get championships. You get like weapons and
so basic figure. You're generally just getting the figure.
You really just get the figure. Except there's this one Seth Rollins that just came with Ray Wrap. Anyways, and then there's battle packs now come with an accessory or 2, and those are just 2 basics packed together, which are sometimes tag teams or rivals.
Right, tag teams.
And then WWE have also a line called Ultimate Edition, which is it goes even farther than the elites. So Ultimate Edition.
Those ones the fingers move? Those ones with the fingers move? No.
Those, they don't have fingers. Although that'd be cool. But anyway, so the Ultimate Editions, so they have double jointed elbows, which is obviously articulating 2 spots again. And they also have like a swivel on the body, so it's like the elite where it articulates back and forth, but it also articulates to like the sides.
Yep.
And then they also have toe joints as well.
That's what I was thinking. The toes, not the fingers.
Yeah. Yep. And they come with like even more accessories. And then, like one of the big drawing points of them is like some of them come with interchangeable arms for like jackets.
Right. Which
and interchangeable heads like a lot of the time.
And those are the ones we got at the SummerSlam.
Yeah. These are really like top of the line.
Superstore or whatever it was.
And the AEW Unrivaled figures are very similar to this. Now, they have the same articulation as the Ultimate Editions, except for one thing. They don't have the toe articulation. They do have double jointed arms. I'm holding my Chris Jericho right now. And their lower body part is like this soft kind of rubbery material, which even adds to the posability of this. And they're really nice. They're really good for like their first wave. And WWE figures use this thing called True Effects to get these really nice face scans.
Yeah.
And so for the basic lines, we are at currently, I believe, series 111.
And they release them
and
how
they
often?
Release, I'm not quite sure how often exactly, but I know there's 6 figures, I believe.
In each
5
release?
No, 5 figures per basic wave, like 5 figures per series. And then there's also a chase variant of one person that they pick.
Which means?
Now, a chase variant is of a different variant, so a different version. So say the Matt Hardy, right, like the one I'm holding, is in the series, and they decide to make a chase variant of him. So then they'll change his attire. Usually we'll have the same accessories if it's an elite, but we're talking basic, and it's the same thing for elites, but they change the attire, and it's going to be harder to get,
right.
Which is why it's called
more rare,
chase variant.
Right, and collectors are seeking those more.
And so, there's going to be 5 in each basic wave, plus a chase of someone who's already in the series. And then for the elite waves, so these are the ones, keep in mind, with the more articulation and the entrance accessories. So you're going to get 6 per wave with these, and you're going to get a chase variant of somebody. Right. For example, Elite 79, you got the 6 figures, and Bobby Fish, who's in the series, is getting a chase variant. Cool. So that's going to be the harder to get variant that you're going to want to be looking for. And one way to tell sometimes is like they'll have a picture on the side of the person. And so usually the normal variant, they'll be wearing the attire of the normal variant. Like, for example, the Buddy Murphy I got was wearing red. On the packaging on the side, he would be wearing red. But there's also the black attire variant. So if I can tell easily, if I don't know already, that if it shows on the side he's wearing red, but he's wearing black, that's the chase, right?
Got it.
Or you can obviously look it up as well. And now I wanted to talk about why AEW figures are a bit, they're a bit of a game changer because, like I said, the Elite are $30, right? And the Ultimate Editions are $40 here, right?
Yep.
But these AEW Unrivaled figures are the same or like similar articulation to Ultimate Edition, but they're at the Elite pricing. And like I said, they also have these rubbery torsos, so they're bringing a lot of new things to the table.
We'll see. I guess we'll have to see what the price is when they come to Canada,
right?
Because we've only paid American so far.
Yeah, but there's supposed to be the Elite pricing at the Ultimate Edition articulation.
And so far, you're happy with them, right? It's just it'll be great. A matter of reliability, like how do they hold up over time? Because out of the box and stuff, they're pretty cool.
I believe in the Unrivaled figures waves series. So we've only got one series now. Well, Series 2 has been revealed, but so there's going to be a few special variants. Like, I believe there is a chase kind of hard to find. The way they do these chase variants are going to be, like, 1 out of 500 or something like that. They're not going to be like the WWE ones where they're just, like, hard to find. But these ones are... So, I think in Series 1 there's going to be a special Cody, and I know there's a special Jericho as well. Cool. That just has an Inner Circle shirt and... the AEW title. So these ones, it looks like to have different accessories and different attire. So a little different from the WWE chase. And I know in Series 3, they're going to have a special Darby Allin chase with different paint and stuff. But yeah, so then those are their
His figures would look cool.
Then I think the only other thing I have to cover is I'm just going to say what companies make what figures.
Yeah, go ahead.
And so AEW figures are made by a combination team of Jazzwares and Wicked Cool Toys. Now, Wicked Cool Toys also make the rings and the rings for the WWE figures. So they're kind of like double duty, here, right? So, and WWE figures have been made by Mattel since 2010.
Yes. So
quite a bit now. And the NJPW figures, New Japan Pro Wrestling figures, are made by, actually I had to look this up. I did. By Super 7, who haven't heard before.
Never heard of it. Me either.
And then there's also this thing called Boss Fight Studios, who are making like some lucha figures. Like there's a Pentagon figure and Phoenix coming. So and they look pretty cool. So I'm definitely gonna keep an eye on those.
Yeah,
but
absolutely.
I think that'll wrap that up for this week.
Fantastic. That wraps up figuring it out.
Yep.
Thank you for that info. Hopefully that helps some people. And I guess that's going to wrap up the podcast. Yeah. We're going to come in at just under 2 hours if we wrap this up quickly. Yeah. So as always, thank you all for listening and giving us a bit of time out of your week.
To everybody who's made it this far.
Yes, absolutely. And we are still having a blast doing this. We're a month in with no signs of slowing down. So you can look for us. We were trying to get things up every Saturday or Sunday, depending on AEW's schedule due to the NBA.
I'll let y'all know on Instagram, but it should be up tonight.
So again, look for us. Find us on YouTube at FNS Wrestling, and we're also on Podbean on FNS Wrestling. And Jackson, Instagram?
FNS_Wrestling_podcast, and then email.
email is fnswrestling@gmail.com. So feel free to reach out any way you like. We'd love to hear from anyone.
Then put them in.
Yep. So thanks again for listening
to
us.
Or on the YouTube video, comment a request.
You interrupt me so many times when I go to sign off every week. It's okay. It's kind of our gimmick, I guess. So anyways, thank you very much for listening. We appreciate it, and we enjoy your week, and we'll meet you back here next weekend.
On Instagram, you can also request there.
Seriously, can you just let me sign off? So we're coming up on 2 hours.
I'm informing the people.
Okay, bye. See you next week.